Hey everyone, welcome to the Cultured Swines podcast. My name is Dave, Buff Dave, if you want to call me that, because yes, that is what my body looks like. And to my left over there, Sweepy, how you going, mate?
Yeah, mate, not bad, not bad. Just another day, another Acolyte episode.
Ugh, good time, good times.
Isn't it good? Now, so general consensus would be what? Better than most?
Well, for this show, yes. That's not
Yes.
saying much.
And for this series, right? Because
Yes, it's a very low bar.
Because episode 4 was, well, nothing happened except that tremendous force push at the end.
Episode 4 was pretty awful, I'm not going to lie. I hated it.
Yeah, and you know what? We didn't even get to covering it. And I think for me, like, the one thing that took me out the most was she captured the Sith Lord and he still managed to get there before her and kill a Wookiee.
And change his clothes.
Yeah. and then the sun went down.
That's so stupid. They have no concept of time whatsoever. Dude literally got himself out of the trap, changed his clothes in the middle of a forest.
Do you know what I like the most, actually? Where she pretended to be in trouble before he trapped her, where she just screeched in the middle of the forest. And the Jedi heard her and were like, eh. Did you notice that? They're like, yeah, right. Yeah, they're like, some bitch is in trouble.
Someone should do something about that.
Oh, yeah. If only there were Jedi around. Yeah, and then we saw
I could scare one. There was only 7.
I think I enjoyed the quite survivable slash across his chest, the Wookiee's chest. You know, far less impactful than what we
it didn't
saw
look
in.
deep.
Yeah, I know. It was a scratch.
Is a Wookiee's heart located right where the human nipple is?
I don't know, but it looked like more of like a nasty gash, rather than what do you call it, like an actual.
We know Leslie Headland knows her way around a gash.
Oh, lesbians. Yes, she does. But besides her sexuality, which I'm sure she's quite proficient in being gay, but it seems in producing a Star Wars show, it's
is she gay?
Leslie Headland.
Would have thought.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were being fair dinkum then.
No.
I was like, yeah.
I couldn't tell. Could not tell.
But yeah, well, we saw much worse with like Reva. You know, she got shanked as a kid and as an adult, and flew to Tatooine with the lightsaber wound. Survived. Then Sabine Wren was, just fucked up her spleen. Is that what your spleen is?
I can't remember what the spleen
is. Look, there's vital organs there by any rate. Like, and survived that one. And poor old, Wookiee warrior over there just got a nice little gash across his chest. And do you know what I found the most strange?
No, I don't.
It was still steaming.
Yeah, it was hot.
It was hot. It was singeing, and I was just like, oh, he's got to be fucking around here somewhere. And like, nah.
He's somehow found the time to go back outside so that he could fly down.
He floated upwards just so he could have a dramatic entrance. you imagine he flies there, he's like, John will be fucking sick. Like, if I reveal myself like this. I've noticed floating has been a theme.
They dead set took Princess Leia's Mary Poppins moment to heart, because now they can just fly.
You know what I heard about the Mary Poppins thing, was that the explanation of why she didn't get absolutely, cooked in the vacuum of space was because she had a force bubble around her. Now, look, I understand that actually is something. Like, they have like some sort of force protection innately. Sort of like in Harry Potter, they have that as well, where as infants, for example, Neville Longbottom fell down the stairs and he produced like magic that made him bounce around. Like, apparently infants can effortlessly do these things because I guess they can in the lore. So I guess in Star Wars, they do have some sort of force protection as well. Like when they're children, you see them in the Clone Wars sort of effortlessly levitating objects and stuff for their own entertainment. But not going too far from that point is apparently Leia unconscious from the explosion from Kylo's missiles, or sorry, his wingman's missiles actually in the Last Jedi. She produced a force bubble unconsciously and then flew back to the ship.
It's probably still the single stupidest thing I think I've seen in the entirety of Star Wars. Like, it's worse than anything in this show.
Like, I remember looking at it when it first happened, and I sort of face palmed slightly, like with cringe when I first saw it.
I laughed
Yeah,
out loud.
I think I
In
was
the cinema.
distraught. Yeah, well, that's what my
I
sister
was
did.
pissing myself laughing.
Yeah, that's what my sister did. Like her, she drew attention to us. Everyone turned around and looked, and she was fucking crying. And I mean, but that was the second rewatch. I literally took my sister because even though her being a Star Wars fan, she's obviously not as passionate and dedicated or gives as much as a fuck as me or you do. But I took her to see it. But I remember the first time I was disappointed. I was the Last Jedi was like one of those heartbreakers. You know what I mean? It's like you thought you're going to marry the hottest bitch in the world, and you know you got catfished by Ryan Johnson.
It turns out to be a fat bloke.
Yeah, exactly. And so when I took my sister, she pissed herself laughing at that scene, and I was just like, you know, if even for a normie fan, that's the reaction that scene elicited. Yeah. Like if you're in the VFX department and like, you know, you got the description or the requirement to be like, have her fly back to the ship. Like after you developed that and watched it, as if you wouldn't just piss yourself. Like laugh.
Like, how do you do that without making it look ridiculous?
I'd be ashamed to show that. It's just like, hey, I produced this. What do you reckon? Like it's, you know, and they looked at it and went, yes.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson was probably holding his nuts, being like, yes, yes.
Speaking of ball-related objects, during my physio session today, we were having a discussion about the Arclight because me and my physio have a really unhealthy relationship. It should not really be professional. Like we basically just talk shit and, you know, he works on me. That sounds really intense, but
Can I get in on these sessions?
Yeah, that's it. You know, while he's putting, you know, needles in me for my muscle recovery and shit. But he basically talked about The Last Jedi and the bombing scene with the bombers. And he goes, you know, they're in space and the bombs fell out. And I was just like, you know what? I didn't actually fucking think of that when I was watching the Last Jedi. The bombs are just falling from a spaceship in space. And I was like, huh?
That would have been really funny if they that could have been the greatest movie scene of all time, had they've done a bombing run and the bombs just float out and they don't do anything.
It'd be fucking so funny.
It would have been, and then we go, oh, that's right, we're in space.
Yeah, well, apparently
that would have been really funny.
Apparently, the excuse was they were magnetic, so they were attracted to the ship below. And I'm just like, I'm going to call
not to bullshit. The ship they were coming out of.
Yeah, I don't know, right? See, this is where I call bullshit. I was just like, you didn't think of that when you made it. You just thought you did something really sick. Yeah, you thought you did something real fucking cool there, and then you thought about it and went, oh. But here's the thing, that you just didn't think about it. But if we're comparing Ryan Johnson to Leslie Headland's Acolyte, that cunt is fucking Shakespeare. I tell you that much, for free. Like by comparison,
let's not take Shakespeare's name in vain.
True, I apologize for that. I'll give myself.
Let's not put these people in the same sentence, please.
100%. But it's, I don't understand. Like when we're looking at episode 5, and you know when it starts off, we have, you know, obviously the Jedi having one Jedi is dead. You know, she wakes up unconscious from the little force flick. And, you know, they're going at it and what seems to be a half decent sort of lightsaber scene. But the only thing that really took me out of it was like, there's still 8 Jedi or 6 at that point. No, one's dead, so 6. So there's still 6 Jedi going at one Sith. And I'm just like, I don't give a fuck who you are. You're not Palpatine. This guy's like discount Ezra Miller. And he's just like,
no Sith should be beating that many. I don't
exactly.
Care who they are.
It's like that scene from, you know, Revenge of the Sith, where he's like, you know, if the Jedi learn what transpired here today, they'll kill us.
Yeah.
Their Jedi are relentless. So even Sidious was like, you got to catch them off guard before they can gang up on us. So yeah, I thought that was a bit overdone. Although the kudos where kudos is right. Like I disagree for them always trying to bring back old content and say, it's going to be better than prequel. This is going to be better than that. It's just like eat a dick. It's not. First of all, second of
Yeah.
all, it was decent at best. And would I say, hands on heart, is it some of the most decent choreography that I've seen in a Disney project? Yes, I will say that it was. There were some moments of that choreography which were decent. Now, how about you? How did you find the choreography? I know you're a harsher critic than I am sometimes.
In parts, it was good. In parts, it was just like, what? Why are they doing this? Like, what?
Which
Why
parts
is
in
no?
particular?
Why are
Which parts do
they?
you think was
Why are they
stupid?
all? He was surrounded by 4 at one point, and they just all attacked him one at a time. It was just, what are you doing?
So that's reminiscent of
That's
the
just
famous
shit.
Last Jedi throne room scene where they said that was sick and there was people in the background just spinning around doing pirouettes for no fucking reason and attacking one by one.
Yeah. That's there's I wrote notes, so I was writing notes as I watched the episode today. I've got
Excellent,
2 full
excellent.
pages.
All
I
right,
got to, I got
let's go.
I got yeah. Time to get serious. Crack the knuckles.
That's
So
it. I'll put my pants down
I
for this
got
one.
through the first page and I was like, shit, this thing it's got to be close to over. And then I paused it and it was like, fuck, I'm only halfway through.
Yeah.
They do a great job of making these episodes feel longer than they are. Torture.
Oh fuck yeah.
All right. So the first thing that I found funny was the immediate opening scene. Osha's waking up from her little being knocked out, and she's looking around, can't see or hear anything apparently, until she sees the dead guy, and then she looks to her right, and there's a big lightsaber fight going on. Like she's been sitting there for a good 30 seconds and looking around, trying to see stuff, and then all of a sudden there's a lightsaber fight right next to her. It's like, how did you not see or hear that the second you woke up?
Oh yeah.
Like this is only a nitpicky thing.
Yeah.
But like it was a good 30 seconds or so. She's just wide-eyed looking around and stuff, being like, "Oh, there's nothing here." And then she just looks to her right, and there's this massive lightsaber fight going on, which you can clearly hear, but there's no audio for it before that. It's like the fight just appears out of thin air. Just like it's just
So
lazy.
are they trying to do like a Saving Private Ryan shell shock scene? You reckon with that one there?
No, they didn't give any impression of that.
You don't reckon?
Nah. There's no like because when they do that sort of thing, like they'll do the ringing in your ears sound or something like that to kind of give you some kind of sense of disorientation. There was nothing.
Yeah, I'm
It's
trying
just
to
kind
actually
of
remember now. You're right. She sort of was just bopping her head around, going, "Fucking what?"
oh, it's
Like,
kind of oh, there's a dead guy right there. Oh, wait a minute, there's a really loud fight over to my right because they just put the audio on. Which these people didn't appear out of nowhere.
oh, that's right. Yeah, they had a few fucking whooshing lightsabers in the background, and she sort of slowly got up and. Well, I can't remember. Actually, do you know what? I watched this fucking yesterday, and what did she do? Because it's fresh in your mind. Did she run over to help, or
No, she just kind of walks towards them very slowly, watching what's
that's
happening,
right.
contributing nothing. So it's a 4-on-1 fight with the one against the 4 only having a single blade, and they just attack her one at a time. It's
Hmm.
it's this does not make him look strong so much as it makes them look bad.
Yes. Although he had a mighty forearm on him, didn't he?
What the fuck is that about?
Well, he's jacked.
No, like why does his forearm and his helmet repel and kill lightsabers?
So that
Stupid,
is
because they didn't
from
explain it.
yeah. Well, it's meant to be a nod to Legends content. I can't remember the metal, and it was also I think in the Vader comic as well, one of the most recent canonical ones where it shortens lightsabers out. Except I thought the delivery of that was
I'm
retarded
sorry,
because
but
he was
like
headbutting fucking
if
lightsabers.
that, why would you introduce that before the Star Wars series?
What do you mean?
Because
Sorry.
now, why didn't everyone after that, like everyone that was going to fight the Jedi, why didn't they have this?
I can't remember specifically if it was like something that a Sith discovered So, for example, the knowledge would be gate kept in some capacity. I can't remember. I agree with you. Maybe it's a bit of a strange one to bring in. Hey, because then you could
Yeah.
just have like a suit of armor of it. I guess one of those things are used sparingly, but I think my understanding of it is the information was sort of maybe gate kept. But then again, I
There's
could be
also
talking out my complete ringer here because I can't remember exactly. But yeah, that's what would be
it just
my.
introduces questions. It's like, so no one else figured this out. So someone as smart as Palpatine with this going on didn't like figure out this stuff existed, and
Well,
because
it's
he
interesting you
would
say that.
100% would have used it.
Well, the thing is, with Palpatine is he actually thought lightsabers were silly. If you,
Regardless, if it doesn't matter if he thought that was silly. It's more that if he knew that this stuff existed, which I would assume this being 100 years beforehand, someone would have figured that out. He would absolutely have utilized it.
I guess, but I think it would be like sort of like where Darth Tooth or Smiler Ren here would be using, where it'll be localized to a helmet or like the wrist guards or something. Because I mean, walking around with a suit of armor of that would still be retarded at any capacity. It's like, walking in the streets just in case a Jedi wants to shank you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but then again,
Like
like
the
I guess,
elbowing and headbutting of the lightsabers, I don't care what the metal is made out of. It's just so dumb.
well, in
It's
that
just
case, you
cheapening the
probably
weapon.
you'd probably have an issue. Would you have an issue with Beskar then? 'Cause I
Yeah, I'm
don't.
not a big fan of it.
Really? Because I mean, like
Nah.
it was that was solely a Mandalorian thing, though, right? It was like Beskar is only mined in the Mandalore system. It's part of their armor. It's part of their identity. See, for me, I didn't mind it so much because it was
It's not. It's not.
uniquely
I
a
mean, I guess
Mandalorian
it
thing.
depends how it's used. It should have been something like, if they were going to have something like that, it should be somewhat limited. So, like,
I know what you're trying
in
to
the
say.
Mandalorian scene where he's walking up the hallway when he's getting shot at, and he gets hit about 15 times and keeps going down to one knee and then getting up and then shot some more and down on one knee. It's just like, it just takes all tension out of the scene because he's not going to die.
Yeah, so with blasters, I think maybe it depends on the blaster. I know what you're trying to say. With lightsabers, I think they tried to note it as it's not going to be indestructible to a lightsaber, because when he was parrying for some reason Ahsoka Tano's lightsaber attacks, you saw his armor and that stick that Morgan Elsbeth was using, like it was heating up, like its integrity was obviously getting limited, which is like fair enough, I can see. But then again, I also think that if Ahsoka Tano wanted to kill you, she would. If you were just a measly Mandalorian.
But also, if people knew about this metal that could prevent, like lightsabers from penetrating and stuff, you'd think they'd have built ships out of it and doors, and you think Mandalore would have been conquered just for this one resource?
Well, that's what the Empire ultimately did.
Yeah, but see, this creates even further problems that they didn't even use it when it mattered.
I think they used it in some aspects. I actually cannot remember, because I know the Stormtrooper arm was made of plastoid, and that was just purely because of the size of the numbers of the troopers, and to have Beskar, mined completely. That's why it became so expensive. It wasn't something that it was used sparingly, or it could not be used sparingly because obviously the resources. I don't know. I think maybe the Empire Mandalorians
just the problem for me is that introducing this stuff raises a lot more questions. Especially when this is a prequel, and it just raises questions of why this shit wasn't used afterwards. Anyway, moving on. Like the lightsabers apparently stopped working, and I just love the fact that it gives him just enough time to go and kill one of them, and then the other two are sitting there staring, and their lightsabers came up at exactly the same time. It was just like, this is lame. This is just lame.
So parts of the choreography good, parts of it silly.
Yeah. Like they're coming up with justifications for why this shit just goes off, and well, they didn't even try to justify it. There was no explanation for why his helmet made the lightsabers short out.
I
But
wonder
just
if
the
they're
fact that
going to
they
address
come
it
back in
later.
at the exact same moment for those two people who then go and die as well.
I wonder if they're going to address it.
They
I wonder
might.
if I wonder if they explain it. I wonder if they do, because they like not explaining things in this show. So I want to see if like they'll go,
Well,
hey,
he's got no reason to put the helmet back on.
didn't it break?
'Cause
Didn't the fucking the Padawan break it?
Oh, don't worry, I was going to bring that up. I was going to bring that up.
Go on.
We're not there yet.
Okay.
So, yeah, we've got the lightsabers not working. Yord gets hit in the leg.
Then he
Now,
stands back up again.
well, why didn't he just cut his leg off? It's like he's gone out of his way to give him a glancing blow, and Yord has fallen on the ground like he was unable to walk. What the fuck was
Yeah,
that?
I noticed he went down, and then he went to another opponent. Did he not?
No, he stayed on the floor.
No,
But
I'm talking about Smarto.
Oh, he moved off to other people, yeah.
Yeah.
Indicating thinking he's incapacitated. But it's very clear later on that he's not incapacitated because he's walking through the forest without so much as a limp.
Yeah, I thought that. I was just like, well, you're not that hurt. It was like a fucking soccer injury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got like a little bit of sunburn on his leg or something.
Yeah, I was thinking that when I was sort of like jogging, I was like, didn't this guy get his hammy fucking sliced off?
There's just like, why didn't he cut it off?
But at this point,
so
like,
dumb.
At this point, like, though, it's not even the fact that he cut it off. It's like, obviously, if he's got a deep wound, I'll be like, all right, he can't move, right? And in this show, like, I remember watching it was, I'm just dying quietly. Even though I saw some decent choreography, like things of this show, just even at that scene, and we'll go back to your points in order, but I got taken out of it, and I got taken out of it more when, we're following Yord and her away, where he had an order to get her to the ship, which is perceivably understanding that the other Jedi were to sacrifice perhaps their life to protect this young girl for whatever reason. And then, they did that little dyad thing. And he's like, we got to go back. They're dying. And he's like, yeah, you're right. They just go back anyway.
Yeah.
But continue, please.
Okay. Some of the choreography for like all the grunts, like some of it was okay, but most of the death scenes, like they're just standing around doing nothing, waiting for him to kill him. It's like these are supposed to be highly trained warriors and shit. Like one of them eats a kick to the chest, falls back against a tree, has all day to get his lightsaber up to defend himself, and just doesn't, and eats a shot to the stomach and dies. It was just like, at least try and defend yourself. Like this just looks lazy. This is just shit. It would be more impressive to have less people, to fight less people and have a better fight and have a more decisive victory that way than to kill a bunch of people that make it look slow and crap.
Yes. No, 100%. I think that's one fundamental thing that I didn't like, was the fact that these are meant to be Jedis in their prime, and for all intents and purposes, I don't think this guy's a main bad guy. You know what I mean? I think he himself is not necessarily a Sith, even though he said to them, like, you might call me a Sith, which to me isn't necessarily confirmation that he is one. I think he's more playing on perhaps their ignorance that you think anyone that uses the dark side is a Sith. So he is not meant to be that powerful. You know what I'm trying to say? And at the end of the day, it's just like, it cheapens the light side. It cheapens the Jedi. It's just like, if you always have a dark sider that can like 5v1 a fucking Jedi, it's just like, it just makes the Jedi not that fierce, or that like all that training for all those fucking years. You know what I'm trying to say? It's just like, it's like how Disney cheapened the Stormtroopers until Andor came out and made them fearful and terrifying again. Where it's just like, they're still Jedi. They're still lethal. Regardless if one uses the dark side, regardless if you think one's cooler, like, these are fucking Jedi. Make them stand up and like actually have some bravado about them, some
Some
grunt.
bravado.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Make them a bit more menacing, like, and a perfect example is when you look at the, remember the old KOTOR fucking game
Yep.
shorts, video clips? Like, you see the deceived version, you see Satil and her master go against, Malgus and his master, and they look competent, don't they? They look fearful, like they're actually going hard at each other, to the point where that Jedi still slays Malgus's master. Obviously, he dies to Malgus, but he doesn't look cheap, he doesn't look shit, he doesn't look outmatched. You know what I mean? It's a really well done battle. Where that's why I'm sick of seeing Jedi's just falling over to Sith. It's like even in Revenge of the Sith, sorry, when Palpatine took out Kit Fisto and the other guy pretty quickly, I was kind of like,
Yeah,
you know
that
what I
was
mean?
terrible.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, not that I was saying I was upset about it, but I was like, oh, that's still Kit Fisto. He's still a really renowned Jedi Master. He should have lived a bit quicker. And I understand, obviously, being Sidious, he's a lot powerful. Maybe the script you can excuse it due to his proficiency, I guess. But with someone like this guy, I was immediately just like, yeah, wank on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, wank on.
and
Like,
I hated the fact that he force pulled someone onto a lightsaber that was already stuck on someone else.
oh yeah, the Jedi shish kebab.
Yeah,
The Jedi kebab.
dude's just like, oh whoa, I hope that doesn't.
And that's the thing, right? With other Force users, it's not like, to do that to another Force user, it's like you have to catch them sort of off guard. It's not like you can just go around choking one another, right? And it's like I didn't see the other one off guard at all or anything. He just pulled him towards him, and that was it.
Mm.
So on that front, a bit silly, but now let's get to the Padawan, or are we skipping too much?
Skipping too much.
Okay, all right, let's go. We'll backtrack.
There's more, mate. There's always more.
Let's go. Let's go for it. Give it to me.
So Osha shows up behind him with his back turned. He doesn't sense her as she's pointing a stun gun at him. She shoots him with it, and it has no effect.
Oh, when she shoots him in the head with the stun gun.
Yeah, she shoots him in the back with it. It's like, A, how hasn't he sensed that? B, what's the point of all this? Like, how is it just having no effect whatsoever? Because again, they don't explain that whatsoever. And I'll get back to the stun gun. But at some point when he gets Yord down, so I want to bring back one of the first scenes in the entire show in episode 1.
Yep.
Do you remember when May was fighting Trinity?
When May was fighting Trinity, yes.
So at the start, right at the start.
Yep.
There's a moment where she's distracted because she's saving someone's life using the Force.
Mm-hmm.
And gets, even though May's right in front of her, she manages to stab her in the chest and she dies.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So there's a similar moment here that should have happened. So there's he knocks Yord down with the clip on his leg.
Mm-hmm.
He's now approaching him. Like, Yord's got his lightsaber up, but he's still lying down from this tiny little nick, little bitch. But he slowly approaches him like he's going to kill him. He's literally standing at his feet because you can see them both in the one shot.
Mm-hmm.
And then Osha shows up, and the villain does this super slow turn that's trying to be menacing. This super slow turn to face Osha when he's got a dude with a lightsaber in his hand, lit up, right next to him, who does not stab him in the back.
Yeah.
Why?
Why indeed?
And this is why I brought up the thing with, because they've already done something like this where May got distracted old mate, Trinity, and then killed her. But this guy's just too dumb. He's just like, get out of here, run! Like, that's going to do anything at this point when he's clearly within range of just being force pulled or pushed, whatever they wanted. Oh, just little things like this. They all add up to be really annoying. For lack of a better way of putting it.
No, I get it because I feel the same, right? It's just, it's almost like you expect it to be a bit silly at this point, which is fucking unfortunate. It really fucking is. It's fucking unfortunate. I mean, like, I try not to dwell too much on silly things like that I can look over. Like, things for me that don't necessarily fuck with the
Matter.
story or canon, I don't really like care that much. Like, for example, like, even though the campfire in space was fucking retarded, I kind of just like go, okay, well, meh.
It's not
You know what I
story
mean?
breaking, but it's just a dumb mistake.
Well, especially when you think of like in episode 1 where they're jettisoning the escape pods and they're obviously abiding by some laws of physics, and you know it's weightless in space, and the ship's moving when every time an escape pod jumps out, so they're trying to obviously pay attention to some of the physics, but then they have that in space. I was kind of like, oh, okay, we're picking and choosing where we want to be fucking, you know, smart here.
Scientific.
Yeah. So yeah, and you're right. I mean, like I said, like before we skip along, I know we might be skipping, but we'll go back to your points in order again. Like, you know, where her and Osha are going through the sort of the forest, they're chasing after her. And, you know, she went from handing herself in to running away, handing herself from to running away to ultimately we got to the end. And
Could
I
not
was
make
just
her
like,
mind up.
but I was just like, the person who writ this episode, did he watch any of the ones before, he or she? Like,
Yeah, no, but
what's
that's been
going
the case
on?
throughout. Been the case for every episode prior to this. People's motivations keep changing, and like they keep forgetting what they're actually
Yeah.
doing there. But
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. It's all over the fucking place. It really is.
And that's the thing, like the message isn't even the worst part, which is to your point again. It's just like
Was it on
it's
purpose?
the writing is so horrible that all they've concentrated on is the message. They just don't care about the writing, unless I see. I'm in the camp of they probably were in a writer's room where all of it was just positivity, where they just backed each other's dumb ideas. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Well, it was
do you know, be
literally.
really cool if you,
I
you know,
can.
change your mind 7 times. Hey guys, and they're like, yeah, slay, yeah. It's like, no, you're an idiot.
Yes, a woman always reserves the right to change her mind.
The only thing they slayed was the Star Wars franchise in a bad
Yep.
way. But let's go back to your points in that order. Where were we up to? So we got
All
to
right. So
Smilo Ren getting
now
fucking
Osha's
shot
running away. So
after the stun.
she's tried to stun him.
That's right.
He's turned around. Yord just says run rather than stabbing the bloke in the back or cutting his legs out from under him, which would have made perfect sense because he literally just turned his back on a man right at his feet with a lightsaber on. So now Osha's running away. He does a lightsaber throw to try and kill her as she's running away, and then Sol comes out of nowhere for the save. It's like, where's he been?
Oh yeah, where was this hoe?
Where was he?
That's right. I remember he just came out of the bushes like surprise. Hello there.
Surprise! Just like, what? Where were you? Why were you just watching everyone die?
Yeah, did he just get force pushed that fucking far?
But it's funny because like it couldn't have been a result of the force push because the force push happened the other direction.
Yeah.
Because he pretty much saved her where the bad guy floated down from. He got pushed back towards Kalnaka's hat.
Real random question. I know this might be off topic, but did it turn daylight again?
I can't remember.
I think it did.
I can't remember.
Remember when Rick James cut her hair off again?
That was so dumb.
Oh, we'll get to that one. But it's daylight.
Yeah.
It turned. I just thought about
maybe
that.
It's hard to tell because you're in the forest.
Oh, I gotta watch it again. Because if that's the case, it turned to daytime 15 minutes.
I'd watch it again, but that would unfortunately mean that I have to watch it again. I don't really want to do that. If it can at all be avoided.
See, I always do this thing where like I'll watch it in the morning, I'll laugh, I'll look at Twitter, and in my head I'm like, I bet you these accounts are gonna suck it off. Yep, they do.
Yeah.
It's almost like per script. This is everything I want in this episode. Oh my god. And the one thing I don't understand is like where they're just like the constant nods to the Phantom Menace. I'm like, there's only one way this can nod, and it's to that. And it's not a good nod. It's more of a, I put my glass up and go, I fucked you. I fucked you real good. I ruined you. Take that.
Yep.
That's it. Like, that's the only nods I'm seeing. It's like, Chiari Mundi, like, yep, fucked you too. So no. Yeah. So and then I look at the obviously, there's the normal haters, which will just, hate anything. And there's normal objective ones that are just like, you know what? It's still shit. And it is still shit. And it's really poor writing. And then I usually go back after it marinates and I have a laugh about it and I watch it again. And then I draw to other conclusions if there's anything I've missed. But yeah, that's usually my routine. And then I wait for, other YouTube channels for my entertainment to tear it to shreds, because that's unfortunately where we've come to. It's people. I saw so many comments on Twitter. It's just like, my only favorite thing about the Acolyte is the 200 hours plus of YouTube content I get of people making fun of it.
Mm.
That is sad. To even to your point where it's just like it gets people talking about and rage watching it. It's just like a lot of people actually have admitted not to watching it, but watching shows like The Drinker so they can tear it to shreds.
Yeah.
That is where you've
So
got.
they might not watch the shows, but they watch all the content that comes out about it.
Exactly. And even with, channels like Star Wars Theory, they do it. They're just like so many comments saying, I literally just wait for your reaction. And even to the extent Angry Joe, people just go, I just wait for the Angry Joe review. People have more trust in objective YouTubers than their own show. That is sad.
Yep. State of the world, mate. State of the world.
Yep.
And funnily enough, they have more faith in these people than they do in actual reviewers.
Well, do you know what? Well, I'll get to that reviewer stage because it is, I believe, judging by either they're in their own little echo chamber, and I will touch on this later, but I'll just sprinkle on now, is it seems scripted and uniform what they say. So either that's, a PR thing from Disney, like if they, either already have sort of work or affiliation with Disney Star Wars where they get
the
people
writers or the actors? Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about YouTubers, right? So content creators that get invited to, events with Lucasfilm and things like and Lucasfilm like that. I feel as though the PR team of Disney have given them sort of like comebacks or retorts or ways to engage with their audience if it is negative. And that's wild that they already have that pre-up, but like only because it seems scripted by a lot of them. That's why I've only come to that conclusion. Or it's just because they're on their own echo chamber, they smell each other's farts and say the same thing. But onto that, before I get back to that, Dave, where I touch on that topic, I would like to have a little bit of a funny little spin-off. Did you know the controversy with Star Wars Theory and a few other content creators about they claim that his followers, I know this is completely off topic, but they claim that his followers like incited violence and attacked their channels and told people to kill themselves or anything. Did you know that?
Theory told, as in Theory was
bullying. They were alleging that Theory's audience was sent out to bully these
right.
people,
okay.
Right?
Yep.
So sum it all up. Obviously, it's bullshit. And then obviously there was lots of clips of actual people going to Theory and saying for him to self-delete and commit crimes and all these sorts of things. They're all horrible. And this has got nothing
on the internet.
Oh, they're fantastic, but this has got nothing to do with anything. But one of the main YouTubers that tried to call this out deleted her account. And for me, a really funny reason. And I don't know this YouTuber, no hate, and I hope they find peace and the help they need, because it seems like obviously it's like a bit more deep rooted. But apparently she was catfishing people, other content creators. Also, because she had like an avatar up And it was obviously the avatar looked like a really good looking person, but it was like sent photos of other YouTubers to other YouTubers like, oh, that's her, of like other good looking girls' content. Someone found her, it called her out that she was just going around catfishing people, and she deleted her channel. I thought that was so funny. It sounds really mean, but I was just like, out of one of the most randomest things to be ashamed about is you're just catfishing other YouTube.
That's funny.
I
That's
think
really funny.
someone said she was sending photos of like Gal Gadot like looking images or something. I know this is completely off topic. I'm so sorry, but I literally cried when I saw that. I was just like, she was called out by like one of their fellow sort of like you know the type of YouTubers that are on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
Sort of. I'm not going to say the word, but and just
the one that starts with S and ends in hills.
You actually confused me. Oh yeah, I know. Sorry, I got it. Sorry, my brain connected the dots.
Come on, mate.
I was just like, what derogatory word? I was like, not derogatory. Hang on. Yeah, those ones. The type of male audience on that side. Anyway, and essentially, the messages were like, I'm sorry, like I can't remember who it was, and I don't want to say who it was, but of her reaching out and sort of maybe justifying the catfish. And he just basically fobbering off, saying like, "Nah, bro, I hope you get help and shit." Like it was really brutal that you share those personal messages. I mean, like honestly, if some girl catfished me who was not the creator, I couldn't upload that. I couldn't spread that. I'd feel too bad. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'd be like, you know what? It's okay. Like, I'm not going to embarrass you in front of everyone because that's all that does. That's all that generated, which goes to my point on people on that side of the fence. We're not the toxic ones. You are. That's what you do to each other. Like, whoever outed her for catfishing, I mean, like, take it up privately, but you're a piece of shit. Like, you're obviously a piece of shit. Obviously, this person was, like, not well. Or they had some sort of image issues. You know what I mean? Like, that's something that you would do behind closed doors and have a chat about. Like, you wouldn't put that out on the public. I've just got
all
to
this
say
talk
that.
about catfishing is giving me a really good idea. I kind of want to take my photo I've currently got on my profile right at the moment that you're seeing there on screen, and the one I had the other day, and like some of these other AI ones I've got, chuck them on a Tinder profile and see what I get.
Oh yeah, that jacked one last time. It's funny, like my AI is literally of my face. Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, I'm not wearing a fucking suit of armor, but that's basically me. I love yours, where yours is like, nah, that's me.
It's my face. It's just on an extremely chiseled body, which is definitely like my body in real life.
100%. Like that's actually Dave, guys. He's that ripped. But yeah, I don't know. Sort of off topic. Like I had a bit of a laugh at that catfishing thing because I guess for us at our age, that's fucking funny.
Yeah, it is.
Like we always laugh about catfish. It's fucking funny. But the piece of shit who fucking outed those public messages, you're just a piece of shit. Like I hope you step on fucking Lego, dude. This person like deleted their fucking channel and everything, and you're a dickhead. But anyway, let's go back to your points.
All right.
Let's go. Sorry, like I just had to get that off my chest.
No, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I'll find the thread and we're gonna laugh about it later. But anyway, so OSHA runs off after your tells it to fuck off.
Sol's come out of absolutely nowhere when he was just sitting on the sidelines having a Mars bar and watching everyone die. He comes out, he saves her, he fights the bad guy for a little bit, so they're trying to kill each other.
Yep.
Or presumably, that's why they're fighting. And then Sol comes up with the funniest, dumbest, just most nonsensical, ham-fisted line in the entire episode.
Yeah.
And there are a few. Like a lot of the characters just speak in vacuous terms that just mean nothing. But
Yeah, they're trying to
old
make
mate
themselves
has
sound
tried to
smart,
kill
aren't they?
him.
Right? Yeah.
Huh?
I was just going to say, like, I suppose they try and make themselves sound smart
Yeah,
with
and
like those nonsensical vacuous comments. It's like, okay,
the perfect example was the ginger that was trying to teach combat.
he was just saying shit.
He was just saying random shit. Make sure your technique is tight. How? What does that mean? What does that mean? That means nothing.
Yeah.
Make sure your asshole is tight.
Yeah,
So we
wax
got bleach. But after they've had a little bit of a fight for a little bit there, Sol, in his typically really slow and dramatic voice, says, "You carry a Jedi weapon, but you are no Jedi."
Mm.
No shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were the bad guy in that situation, I would just start ripping on him for being a retard.
Oh yeah.
Like, you carry a Jedi weapon, but you are no Jedi. Like, mate, I've been trying to kill you from the moment I saw you. What did you think I was? You spaz.
Yep.
Oh, so dumb. And they frame it in such a dramatic way. It was just like it was a dramatic revelation or something. So, mate, he's tried to kill you from the first moment. Why say that? We know he's the bad guy. We know he's not a Jedi. We don't need you to say. It's such a pointless line. It's very characteristic of the writing throughout the entire show.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? It's more just like
telling, not showing.
Well, you know, for example, when in Phantom Menace, when Qui-Gon first fights Maul.
Yeah, in the desert.
And he described his attacker. Obviously, Sol was just like, "You Jedi." Like, obviously, when Qui-Gon was like, he was heavily trained in the Jedi arts.
Yeah.
So obviously, he's just like, obviously, this guy ain't a Jedi. You know what I mean? But he was trained in the Jedi arts, and he obviously ascertained that he's also thus force sensitive, because a non-force sensitive being trying to swing a lightsaber at a Jedi won't end well. It'll be over very quick, right? They can't do what Jedi can do. They can't anticipate movements and la la la. You know, they'll make him into sushi real fucking quick. Yeah, like it's just like how they sort of deliver things. And I know we might be jumping ahead here, but it's just like the whole line, you know, some people might call me Sith. You know, it cheapens up Maul's, if he is a Sith, it cheapens up Maul in Phantom Menace. Yeah, at last we'll reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we'll have revenge. And then that first introduction when, you know, or that second to Qui-Gon when they fight him on Naboo. The intro, the build-up, the crescendo. It's just like, shit's about to get fucking real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it made the audience feel something. I'm not gonna lie, besides liking a few lightsaber moves, I didn't feel shit except secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah, no, it's ass.
It's complete poopy bug booty cheeks. But all right, so where were we up to?
Yes, I also
that's my soul. Yeah,
you are no Jedi.
Yeah.
I found myself wondering why none of the 7 Jedis have even attempted to use a Force ability on him.
Which ones?
Not one. So during the fight, he's fighting all these Jedi at once, and not one of them have tried, at least on screen, to throw a what do you call it? A Force ability at him.
Yeah.
Not one. Well, like, just do something. If you all Force push him together, I'm sure he's gonna get fucked up.
Yeah,
if you all Force pull on his lightsaber, you'll probably take it from him.
Logic isn't their strong suit, my friend.
No, it just stupid things like that. And this is the problem because you write yourself into a corner when you have that many Jedi attacking, because it makes them all incompetent. Every
Yes.
single one of them.
Yeah. I
It
agree.
doesn't make the bad guy look good so much as it makes the Jedi look really, really bad.
Oh yeah. It does. And that's what I was saying. It's like, stop cheapening the Jedi. It's just like, these are
Yeah.
meant to be like, the timepiece, the height of their form. You know what I mean? Like, they're meant to look at a dark. Like, for me, them facing a dark sider is something that, they train in saber combat. So theoretically, it's something that they've trained for all their life, right?
Yeah.
You are
Yeah,
trained.
this is all they do.
That's right. Like,
They
your
train to use the
proficiency of
Force, and they train to fight. That's all they do.
Yeah, your proficiency with the saber is like, this
Your
weapon
life.
is your life. Like,
Yes.
your weapon is not just for attack, but it's a symbol of defense of the, the citizens of the Republic. Like, it's meant to be like an honor to defend. But at that point, like, stop making them suck, man. Like, it's cheap. It's boring.
They're just completely defanged.
Exactly. And when you see something like, we're going to lead up to it, which is probably your favorite part, which is the actress who played horned makeup Padawan bitch.
I was just about to bring her up.
Daphne.
Was that her name? I didn't know what her name was.
Daphne was her name.
I call her Lil Lezo.
Well, actually, I actually don't know how old she is, because there was a photo of her and she was quite a pretty girl. So let's just check if I've made a boo-boo here. Daphne.
I gave her I was calling her Little Lezo, but I shortened it to Lil, like a rapper's name, Lil Lezo.
Oh, there's no such thing as little Lizzo, is there?
Nah. That bitch is big.
She's gross.
Every time I hear Lizzo's name, I just think of South Park now.
Which one?
South Park. How they it was like some kind of weight loss drug, and they called it Lizzo. Because it helps you not give a fuck about your weight.
Yeah, that's it. That's Daphne Keane Fernandez.
Wait, is that a name in real life?
Yeah. The little alien. Okay, I'm not in trouble. She's 19. Good. Well, I saw a photo that they put up on Twitter, and I was just like, damn, that's a lot of cleavage. So obviously, I assume that she was overage.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like, so I was just about to get to her. So,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. Dude, I'm only halfway through the first page.
Oh no, I'm just sending you a photo of her. Go on.
So now we're at we've cut away from there. We're at the entrance to Kelnucker's hut. Old mate May has taken Kelnucker's lightsaber. Or has she not taken it? I can't remember if she had taken it at this point. Either way, she comes outside, and Lil Lezo springs on her like she's been waiting for her. It's like the fight was happening just 10 meters behind you. Why weren't you fighting? Why weren't you in the fight?
Yeah.
Her and Sol were just off flicking the bean and having a wank. I don't know what they were doing, but they just, for some reason, were not partaking in the fight. She's just sitting there ready to ambush May, and then she jumps on her and tackles her instead of using a force ability. And then they have this long kung fu fight, and every time Lil Lezo uses a force ability, she's just owning her. And she just stops doing it so they can have this fight for 5 minutes. It was so dumb. At the point where she takes the handcuffs out. Firstly, why does she even have handcuffs? Why would she be the one carrying them? She's a Padawan at best.
Yeah, and that's the thing with me. I was just like, why aren't you putting
like she starts reading Miranda rights before she even has her restrained.
Yeah, when she was
Not
grabbing
even
her
fully
other hand
restrained.
and when she was grabbing her other hand and trying to put it in the cuffs, I was like, this is what like brothers and sisters do when their children then fight each other.
It
I
looked
was
like
just
she was
like, ugh.
whispering it in her ear, like the Miranda rights in her ear, as though it was a sexual thing.
Well, she actually admitted that she read her lines to her in the show as if she was crushing on Osha. Which begs me to
That's why I
sort of,
call her Little Lezo.
well, it kind of makes me uncomfortable because Osha's a fully grown adult and she's a Padawan.
Yeah, she's making
Yeah,
strong moves already.
and Osha was talking about trading stories about Master Soul at a cantina where they're drinking. I was just like, oh yeah. Someone call the cops, please. Like, I was like, this is gross. But then apparently she goes, oh, but she was 18. I was like, no, Padawan is 18. Or are they? I don't know. How when do Padawans become knight in the? It's not really set, eh?
I have no idea.
I mean, Padawans for me would be, oh, maybe 18. You could say, yeah. All right, that checks out. But let's continue.
Yeah. Just wondering about the legal age of Padawans.
Yeah, if we're in the Star Wars universe, mate, can't be too careful.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Anyway. So they keep having this kung fu fight, and every time she uses force abilities, she's just braining her. She's beating her easy, but she just stops doing it. And then eventually, they end up restraining her. But all this begs the question. During that fight, May tried to kill her several times with knives. When her intention in going down there was to turn herself in.
Yeah.
Why the fuck was she not being like, no, I'm here to give myself up?
Yeah. I think maybe
They just
like
completely forgot what their motivations were.
well, that's correct, right? Unless obviously she saw, Smiler Ren come in and she's like, oh fuck, we're all dead anyway. I may as well try and run away. Which then obviously just solidifies as absolutely no faith that the Jedi will get out of this, right?
Mm.
Like, it's like, no, we're fucked because, discount Ezra Miller.
And that's not even bring up the point. Is like, why did she change her mind anyway? Which she spent her whole life training for. It just makes absolutely fuck all sense. But I digress. And there's more. So yeah, she's trying to turn herself in. Is now actually trying to kill Lil Lezo, which makes no sense. I've got a bugbear to point out. So they cut back to the fight, and people keep kicking each other. I hate kicks in lightsaber fights. I hate them.
Yeah. Why?
I hate them with a passion. They make
Why
no
is that, though?
sense. Kicks are not fast. Then they're hard to disguise. Like, we're talking about people with the fastest reflexes in the galaxy, are we not? He sees things before they happen. It's a Jedi trait. And yet you can't see a kick coming. Why would you even attempt to kick someone if the person is holding something that would basically, you could kick their lightsaber. All they had to do is block a kick like they were blocking a lightsaber strike, and it would just go straight through their leg. Why would you kick? And why do we so often see kicks work? It's so dumb. Like, these lightsaber strikes are lightning fast, but they don't see a kick coming.
Yeah.
Please explain. Have you got anything for me, Adrian? Any explanation as to why they keep introducing kicks?
I mean, like, I don't mind kicks. Like, we've seen them a fair bit. Like, if done well in combat.
It makes,
like, you know what I
I
mean?
don't like them in. I don't like them in any fight. They make no sense.
Like kicking someone.
In a fight with lightsabers, makes absolutely zero sense.
Well, I mean, like, if you're advancing
If you
someone
try
and
to kick someone with a lightsaber, you are more likely to get your leg taken off. Why would you do it?
well, not if they're off balance, right? Like, for example, if you knock them back and you give them a kick in the chest, like, I mean, it's plausible. I personally don't see a big harm in it if it's done well. Like, if you can see the kick coming towards you, it's like, yeah, just fucking sashimi it.
No, but this is my point. They always land every single time. And most of the time, they're not like really well disguised kicks. They just go for this kick, and it just always hits. And we're supposed to believe that these guys have the sharpest reflexes in the fucking galaxy. All they have to do is just get their lightsabers somewhere in the vicinity. They don't even have to put any pressure. They don't have to swing. They just have to put it there. And it just goes straight through their foot or through their leg. It just, I hate them with a passion because they just make absolutely no sense in the context of their universe.
A kick.
Yep.
You really hate.
Yep. I know it's a nitpick.
Yeah, that's a really strange thing to fucking hate, dude.
It's just like, well, think about it. You've got these weapons that can go through metal walls.
But I guess, put it this way, like in episode 1 where Qui-Gon is fighting Maul, and he does strike him in the face with his hands. So what's the difference?
See, that one's okay.
Why?
Because he does it so quickly, and he's knocked his saber out of the way. That makes some sense. But a kick takes much longer to accomplish than a backhanded punch.
But Maul does
when
kick
your hand is already in position.
And Maul's
he does, and it's
fluid.
It's dumb. No, it's still dumb.
I don't know, man. I think it works if it's done like well. You know what I mean? Like
next time we watch these, I'm gonna pull up every single kick, and you're gonna have to explain to me how he's pulled this off. When these blokes are supposed to be the best of the best, and he's just got this weapon.
It depends in which fight, right? Like if we're looking at the ones like obviously, Anakin and Obi-Wan, and then obviously the one in Phantom Menace. I mean, if the fight dictates that, it would be done if they're knocked back, then fine. Like, I'm okay with it. Like, I personally don't have a problem with it, unless it's like what you're saying, where you're seeing a massive fly kick come across the screen like a fucking anime cartoon and it lands, and that's retarded. Like, I concede. But like, I think if it's done well in the choreography, then I personally don't have issue. But okay, so the kicks, on Dave's point, Dave thinks the kicks shit.
I hate them, mate. They piss me off.
Yeah, that's a really strange thing to rage about in the context of how bad the show is, right?
Yeah.
And everything like, mate,
this goes. This, to be fair, this isn't just this show. This goes across all of Star Wars. I hate seeing kicks in lightsaber fights. It just
you remind me of those old bar fights back in like Outback Australia. It's like, if you kick, mate, you're a fucking pussy. Yeah.
And so later on. So not long after Yord's got the order from Sol, who's now not limping, by the way, to get her out of here.
No hamstring and walks fine.
Yeah, walks absolutely fine. Not a grimace of pain, nothing. Even though they bring up the fact that he's wounded later, and he goes, "Oh yeah."
He starts limping. He's like, "I'm fine."
I should probably start acting that part.
Yeah,
I forgot about the direction.
You just hear the whisper, "Limp." Like.
He mentions something, and you don't need to go into the full lore behind it, but it's when they're talking about the bad guy. They're like, he gets in your head, and like he's so hard. He doesn't follow. He's got all these weird movements, and he doesn't follow the rules of combat. What the fuck are the rules of combat?
Yeah, that for me, just I kind of was like, okay, what rules of combat? Like.
The only rule of combat is kill your opponent.
But you know what? It's just like, okay, a rule of combat. If you've disarmed them and they are no threat, the Jedi will not kill them, right? Unless they kill them while they're in combat. But if they cut their arms off and they're defenseless, the Jedi won't execute them, right? So in terms of a rule of engagement for the Jedi, because they don't kill the unarmed or attack the unarmed, for example. So if they're they don't attack the defenseless, I should say. So in that context, that rule of engagement. But at what point does he mean that? Like, if he disarmed the Jedi and he executed, is that what he meant? Like, because in the fights, all I saw was the Jedi being really, really bad. And
when you're outnumbered 7-1, disarming one does nothing.
But yeah,
what rules is there to be following?
I don't follow the rules of combat. It's just like,
and this is clearly someone that doesn't give a fuck about your rules. So why even bring that up?
But I think
they've written it in as an attempt to make him sound badass, when really it's just like rules of combat. What?
Well, that's the thing. Was I think they constantly try and highlight the incompetence of the Jedi in this show, which was really highlighted not so much the incompetence, but more so their arrogance throughout the prequels, right? That's what you saw. You saw their arrogance. You saw their willingness to follow, the politicians blindly, move away from the will of the Force, like where Qui-Gon was. It's like they serve the Force, not the Senate. Where it showed more that, their hubris and their arrogance, and in turn their incompetence to deal with an obvious threat under their nose. And what they're trying to do now, it's like, I feel as though if they feel as they write and cheapen the Jedi, it'll show them incompetent, but you're just making them look retarded.
Yeah. And
Like
the other thing of that was
yeah.
like that he gets inside your head. Like,
We didn't see it. How? When did we see that?
Well, we don't see it. He just tells you that. So it's just like, well, how? Surely you would be guarded. It's not like he snuck up on you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like we do see it psychological. Like the Sith are very psychological. Like obviously Palpatine, when he's trying to tempt Anakin, he's like, we'll save your wife from certain death, where he sort of reveals himself. But even like in Return of the Jedi with Luke and Vader, where he's taunting him psychologically, he's getting in his head. But I think what Yord meant, was he gets in your head using the Force.
Well, yeah, that's obviously what he meant.
Yeah, well,
it just makes no fucking sense.
So the Jedi are weak; they can't resist Force.
They can't defend it. Like what?
Which is stupid because the show highlights that they do that all the time. Do you actually remember before this happens? Or is it we're going to go up to where he goes, remove your helmet, and Smilo's like, so you can read my thoughts? No. And then his helmet comes off anyway, and Sol's like, I forgot to do that too. Like, what? Like, this is what I'm saying. It's just like no one's paying attention in the writer's room. Like, if Dave Filoni is culpable for greenlighting this, if he read this, either he greenlit it to purposely make them look like shit so he gets more control, or he's just complicit to this shit. I like to think
that Daphne Keane chick. I didn't realize this. That's the chick that played Logan's daughter in Logan.
Yes.
Right. All right, yeah, go on. Sorry. I got distracted.
Which part did you not hear?
All of it, probably. You could not tell that from her makeup. The shit haircut she had.
Well, it's good to know, ladies and gentlemen, that Dave cares what I think. So, as I was saying, okay, now my brain is dying. Oh, fuck you! You made me. You full chat.
Great chat.
Great chat. We're talking about the reading of the thoughts, right?
Yeah. Because then, Sol was like,
sorry, that's what I was saying. Yes, like right after that, like, I was saying in the writer's room, basically saying, who writ this? And if Dave Filoni was, complicit in greenlighting this, it's either he, saw how bad it was and went, fuck it, I'm going to greenlight this, so it's so bad so he gets more control, or he greenlit it because he's complicit in it. Like, I hope it's the first one where he's just like, I'm going to greenlight this so it's a real shit and I get more control. Or he's just complicit.
I think either way, he does not come out of this smelling of roses.
Well, no, because a lot of these defenders at this point are saying like, oh, they're just throwing Dave at straight up Filoni because he's the chief executive, blah, 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 blah. Like he's become the meat shield for the what do you call it? The criticisms. I'm like, I don't know, man, because there was an interview with are you know who Sam Witwer is, right?
Who? You say Sam Booker?
No, Sam. That's a drink. Sam Witwer.
Oh, Sam Witwer.
Yeah.
I've heard the name. I can't remember who he is.
So he voices Maul in Rebels, and he is also the voice of Starkiller.
Oh, yeah, the Chin. Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, that's it, the Chin.
Starkiller.
Yeah. Cleary. We'll call him Cleary from the NRL. So he has a bit to do with the story group. He when they were writing Maul, and he was saying one time they were going to do something non-canonical, and he was just like, "Hey, should we rein them in and make them follow canon?" And Dave Filoni's like, "No, it's good. I think of it as like campfire stories, and everyone's got a different vision, and we put it out there." Where I was like, David, no, stop it. There's canon for a reason. This is why everyone's getting the shits. This is because you don't follow canon. Whoever told you the cam story theory can go and fuck themselves. Like, that's not a thing. That is not a thing, and that's a very, very dangerous thing to include. And we're seeing the results of it right now.
Yeah.
Kiadi Mundi's 4,000 years old. I mean, that's a bit of a stretch. He's like 30 years old more than he should be, but you know what I mean.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Yes. So, yeah. To you, sir.
Oh, back to me. All right. I had written down why did the lightsabers stop working. We've kind of covered that, but they don't explain it at any point, at least in that episode.
It's like cortosis.
And it's just really convenient when they stop working and for how long. Because later,
yeah, I like the blank looks they give to each other. Like, what the?
We're completely helpless. We can't help old mate who's getting murdered over there. We can do nothing. Oh, wait, we have force powers, but we do not use them.
Uh-huh.
Fucking stupid. Anyway, so then Lil Lezo was what's his name? Smiley Ren catches up to Lil Lezo and May, and she picks up Kelnacker's lightsaber, and now she's got two blades and actually starts forcing him back, like he's actually struggling. It's like, really? You had these fully grown Jedi, 7 of them, and you're struggling with Lil Lezo.
You see, I rolled my eyes.
This is actually making him look weak at this point.
Well, you know what? It's done by Leslie Heslin. Of course, there's going to be a girl boss moment there, right? Even though she meets a pretty grim end. But, you know, I did give my hats off to Daphne. She looked really good in her choreography, I must say. Like, the way she...
Well, some of it.
Well, some of it, like, I thought some of it did a really good job.
There's a couple of things I'm going to nitpick on. And this is the same thing with the kicks. I hate the stance when they're using 2 lightsabers where they're holding the lightsaber the wrong way. It makes no fucking sense.
Oh my god. Yeah.
It makes no sense.
That is a nitpick.
It is a nitpick. I'm fully aware of this, and I know it looks cool, but functionally it makes absolutely zero sense. And no one would ever do that with any weapon.
Well, we should have a segment for each week, your nitpicks of the week.
Oh, that'd be
fucking fantastic.
The whole show's my nitpicks.
But yeah, but for most cases, you can say she did a decent job, right? Which is what I gave.
For the most part, it was pretty good.
Yeah,
except for the stance and the way too many swivels.
Okay.
Where she's just turning around for no reason to then block the next thing when she's backtracking. Well, it's like, why are you spinning around?
Yeah.
You would never spin around in a fight.
Well, she fucked him up, right? She got his helmet off. And the reason I rolled my eyes, I was just like, I'm not above the fact that, you know, a Padawan can be competent. But when you see Jedi Masters die and other Jedis fall, ones that are, you know, are meant to be more qualified or proficient than she was. Like, you got to remember, at the start of episode 4, we saw her training with a fucking stick.
Yeah. We saw her training with other children.
You know, to the fact she comes and it looks like, you know, she's as competent as someone like Ahsoka Tano from the Clone Wars. I was like, bit of a skill jump, it wasn't believable. It was
dumb.
Right?
No suspension of disbelief at all.
Yeah. And like, you know, there was one line though, after he pulled out his Sith shank and went and fucked her up. You know, there was actually one line which I liked about this, where basically, you know, Sol was like, she was a child. And he's just like, you brought her here.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. It was like, he says that, and that was literally all what I was thinking. I was like, why did you bring her?
Correct.
Why was she on the mission? I've been saying this from the beginning. It's like, why is she on the mission? Whose Padawan is she? Why
Souls.
is
She's
she
Souls
here?
Padawan.
Oh, she is Sol's Padawan.
Yes.
Did they ever say that?
I think so. I think it was Sol's Padawan. I need to be fact checked. And you know what? If that is Sol's Padawan, that is a really shit response to your Padawan getting slain.
Yeah.
Like really weak, you know what I mean? And I think this is my point I was trying to say. It's just like the introductions or their reactions to certain things. Like, you know, you saw what happened when Qui-Gon got slain by
Yeah.
Maul. Obi-Wan lost his fucking shit. And you could see he was visibly angry. He was using the dark side. Like, he was not fighting like a Jedi. He was fighting for one purpose. He wanted to fucking kill him. You know what
You
I
know what
mean?
the funny thing was?
What?
Was during that fight. So when just before she died, she was fighting him for a good little while.
Yeah.
As Sol's lightsaber had been turned off because of the magic helmet. And he just sat there and watched. He wasn't wounded or anything. He was just sat there and watched it happen.
Yeah, what a shit cunt.
What was he doing? He was just
What?
again just sitting there with his hand on his dick.
Like, and that's the point. Like, he's not concentrating, Smilo. Force freeze him. Force push him. Do something. Launch a
Just
log
do
at his
anything.
head, cunt. Like, yeah, like...
Well, couldn't you force grab someone's leg and just like pull it out from under him? Like something?
Or just do what he did. You know, shoot some dust up in the air. You know, kick some leaves up or something. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it goes back to the High Republic's new Leslie Headland's rules of engagement.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Every time I see things that I'm like, oh, it reminds me of The Simpsons when Sideshow Bob steps on a rake. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, that's what I feel like. I'm like, oh, it's another rake to the fucking schnoz. Yeah. So is that where we're up to? So yeah, she gets shanked.
Hang on, let me see where I was up to.
Actually, let's go to Wikipedia. I want to see if he is the Padawan, because if that is right, that's a really shit fucking response to your Padawan.
Well, the response to all of the death was really bad. Like 6 of them died, and there was just very little fanfare about it. It was like, okay, next. There's a moment where he's talking to Osha after it all happened, and there's dead bodies all around them, and they're just not mourning them at all. It's even the one that Osha considers her friend and potential love interest. Fucking little Lezo's just lying there dead and just nothing at all. In fact,
yes, that is his Padawan.
All right. One of the funniest moments of this episode was when she died. And I think there was when Little Lezo died. There's they show a moment where Osha's, I think, recognizes it or feels it in the Force or something.
Yep.
And her face does not change at all. She has zero expression. Like
Amanda Stenberg has one expression for both characters she's playing.
Yeah.
It
was so funny. I was laughing.
She's not versatile. She's a shit actress.
Yeah.
She's a shit actress.
Yeah.
Actually, we'll get this out of the way quickly before we continue. Favorite actor or actress so far in the series?
Oh,
I'm gonna hit you with a controversial one. You're gonna fucking hate me, but yeah, we'll you first.
I'll say the Asian guy because he looks like he's actually trying, and he did learn the language just for this, so it was like good effort.
Squid Games.
But yeah, like fair enough, like good effort.
Yeah,
and he's actually he's way over dramatizing it. Either that or it just makes it look that way because it's a really badly shot show, and his character's an idiot, and he says shit. His dialogue is terrible. And he repeatedly makes dumb decisions.
Well, apparently,
at least he's trying with the acting.
Apparently, I heard that he didn't actually learn the language per se, but he's learned how to say the script phonetically. So he may not actually have understanding of what he's saying, but he's phonetically saying the words.
Yeah. Oh, well, either way.
I heard
that's a solid effort.
100%.
Like, good on him for trying. And he looks like he's actually trying to act despite the absolute shit he's been given.
Yep.
Who's yours?
So I have a couple. I'd probably say I'm like you. Squid Games is good. I think he's put in a solid performance. I'll say the actor who plays Kumir, so Smilo Ren. I thought he'd done a very good job in terms of like one, I guess maybe the fighting choreography. And I
I
thought
won't say he was. I wouldn't say
I
he
thought
was
he's
bad. I wouldn't say he was overly good either. Like I just feel nothing. Maybe that's just a result of the story being so shit.
probably, but I
I
thought his
just
acting was solid. Like then, like when he became Smilo or when he revealed himself, when he took his helmet off, I thought he was a bit solid. A little bit, but also strangely enough, who didn't seem like a shit actor, an actress, but she seemed to be doing a good job in terms was Green Bean, Leslie Headland's wife.
really.
Yeah, I mean, like
I mean,
in
she's
terms,
had very, very
yes, but
few lines.
yeah, I mean, very, very limited, but they weren't
And we
like
don't call her Green Bean around here. We call her Master Granny Smith.
okay, Master Granny Smith. Um, she obviously with like Amanda, she's expressionless. Daphne, I find her just not that I think she's a bad actress, but like the way she's portrayed and delivers her lines, like she
I was
says these
cheering when she died. I was so
like
happy.
she's
I hated her.
like she says these nonsensical fucking lines, which make her like okay.
But
Like
yeah,
if someone
just the way she
said that,
carries on, I hated her character.
yeah, like when she gives
Nothing to
those
do with the
one
actress.
liners,
I just hated the character.
yeah. Like if someone said that to me, like the way she talked to me, I'd be like, "Can you get away from me, please? Like you're a fucking weirdo."
Yeah. Or if you're in Yord's position where she just emasculates him and just be like, bitch, shut the fuck up.
And that's another one, Yord. I felt his acting is decent, and
To be
even though
fair, there's not a lot of acting there.
there's not much to do. You are correct. There's not much to do.
He's been given shit lines, and there's no actual character work in any of his stuff. It's just, and this isn't this is a fault of the writing entirely. There's just nothing for these actors to work with.
But in fairness, then is there a lot of like emotion, a lot of acting, a lot of character building for Soul?
See, Soul's trying, and the only ones with really any sort of character stuff were him and the twins, and the actress that's playing her she's shit ass.
Amandla.
I don't know, give a shit what her name is. She can't act for crap.
Did you see her?
She's awful.
I know this is old news now, but did you see her?
That video you showed me,
the disc tape.
that
She made a rap fighting against against the Star Wars hate.
It's
and she just twerked on the screen and mumbled a few things, and I was like, yeah, that'll show him.
Again, this is part of why I think it's all deliberate. You cannot tell me that she thought that was going to go well. And there's no way she released that without Disney's approval. No fucking way.
Well, apparently she did that in 72 hours. She filmed, edited it, and produced it in 72 hours. I call bullshit.
I wouldn't be surprised she had that ready before it. I reckon she was told. She was
True.
told
I mean,
this will
like,
not go
to be
down
fair,
well. You will get hate. We're going to claim racism. So anything you can do to sort of ham that up. She was like, "Oh, we'll do a rap video." I reckon that's how it happened.
To be fair, it's not like there was much to edit. She was just twerking on the screen.
Yeah, that was when you made me watch that. That was the longest 3 minutes or whatever it was of my life. That was
Did
painful.
I actually make you watch that?
You did.
When?
The other day. When we watched it, we watched, I think, episode 3 or 4, and then you had this up, and you were like, "Here, come have a look at this." And I was just, it was like a car crash. I couldn't look away. It was awful.
Huh. Yeah, it was shit. All right. let's continue. Sorry to derail.
Actually, one of the funny things, she kills one of so Smilo ran when he's fighting Lil Lezo at one point. He kills one of the lightsabers. I think it's Kelnaka's lightsaber, and she looks down at it and looks up, and he's done a Batman. He's gone.
What was this?
So we now have Batman's identity confirmed.
So which part was this again? Sorry.
So he and Lil Lezo were fighting. This is obviously before she dies.
Yeah.
They're fighting. She's got the two sabers. He hits, I think, Kelnaka's saber and kills it. She looks down at it, and then she looks up, and he's gone.
That's right. Yeah.
He did a Batman disappearance.
Yeah, and he's chasing Osha, where he does those real weird close-ups of his helmet. He's like, "You're a coward," and running. Is that right?
Yeah, but like, why wouldn't you have just killed her there? You had her dead. Like, well, she still had one lightsaber, but she was not going to last long. Like, why would you back off?
Yeah, but doesn't Soul come back in then and try and fight? Then he pegs his fucking cloak at his head or some shit.
I'll get to that. I've got that on my list.
All right, get to that. Return to your point. I'm going to quickly run to the bathroom while you continue.
All right. All right. So now they cut back to Yord and Osha walking through the jungle, and Osha walks up to him, and she's like, "Turn off your lightsaber." Why? It attracts them. Attracts what? And then there's this about 30-second thing, this 30-second shot where they super slowly turn around and look up in the trees while he's still got his lightsaber on, and she just doesn't bother to answer the question. It was so fucking dumb. Just like at any point she could have just said, "There's these fucking really nasty bugs in the trees. Turn your lightsaber off." But she just doesn't answer the question and lets him look up extremely slowly. I just thought it was funny. Really, again, nitpicky, but just really dumb. Something that just could have easily been avoided. It was just silly. And if it really attracts them, why were they not attracted to the lightsaber fight before that? There are 8 lightsabers there, minimum, and they weren't attracted to that. But they're attracted to this one light exactly when it goes off. Like, what? They're not even trying. Fair, it just makes no sense. Several times they've brought up the fact that Sol gave me an order and we can't go back because Osha wants to go back because they're going to kill him and all this kind of stuff. And Yord's actually doing the right thing and being smart and being like, "No, I will restrain you if I have to." Smart. Very smart. They're on the way out, and then he's going to kill them. Okay, let's go. And just flips on it.
Well, do you know...
Despite saying, "Sol gave me an order, and I will do it."
Well, do you know what's funny about the thing?
What did you think he was there to do?
But you know when he said, like, you'll attract them?
Yeah.
Yord was there for that.
No, that's what I'm saying. She was talking to Yord.
No, but I'm saying he was there for that the first time they did that with Sol.
Oh, yeah, true. So he should have known.
Yes, so cool. That'll attract what? This is what I was saying. I was like, did the people who fucking writ this episode not watch the one before it? I fucking hate him. Like, I really fucking hate him. Like,
and the cicadas is such a shit plot device too.
And just, it's not like I'm not a hater. Like, you know me. I am not. I mean, hang on.
Yeah.
we're sometimes haters, mainly when it comes to sports. But like in terms of, I guess, this stuff, we do become a little bit objective about it. We are objective. We try to be as much as we can. I honestly think when you're critiquing something, there is always going to be a level of unconscious bias, right? But as long as you're aware of your own unconscious bias, like how you say, this is a nitpick, because you know it's a nitpick. But it's like you can't be labeled a hater if you're picking apart just horrible writing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of
they're all legitimate criticisms.
They are. And I think a lot of people when they tear these things apart, it's easy to deflect when people don't give them an alternative storyline.
Yeah.
But that's not the job of the critiquer, I believe.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because the critiquer will either say, yes, it was good because of X, or it's bad because of Y. But at this point, you have to have a very, very low IQ not to see how horribly written this is.
Yeah. All right.
Like,
this brings me on to Smilo's helmet. So at this point, we've seen lightsabers come off it multiple times. So you would think it's impenetrable and really hard, right?
yeah, okay, I know where you're going with this.
So then Sol's lightsaber goes out and they start having a fisticuffs. Put up your juke, sir. Sol multiple times punches him in the helmet. Like, why is your hand not broken?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would you punch someone who's wearing a helmet made of metal that can stop lightsabers? They really don't think these things through.
No, because ultimately it's not Sol who fucks up the helmet, isn't it?
Well, that's the other one I was going to get to. And then Lil Lezo comes in, also hits the helmet. She elbows the helmet twice. It's like, okay, first of all, you've got like 19-year-old girl arms. Your elbow would be shattered. Secondly,
Yeah.
the helmet breaks. She elbowed a metal helmet so hard it broke.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to leave a silence here so that we can all absorb that. Just how stupid that is.
A moment of silence for competent writing.
Like, was it held together by staples?
One thing I've always noticed, like, that helmet is quite battle scarred.
Yeah, it looks like it. But what looks like a teenage girl elbows him twice and the helmet snaps. That is fucking retarded.
Mate, she was using force elbow.
Force kung fu.
That's it. Force karate. But yeah, no. So it comes straight off, and then they're just like, wait, let's just rewind before we get to this reveal. Remember when he first fronted up to Sol? And he's like, Master Sol, you don't remember me? It's like, you have a mask on your cockhead.
I don't know who you are.
Unless he's trying to insinuate, do you not sense my presence from the apothecary?
Well, not even that. It's like, how does he know who Sol is?
From the apothecary.
No, but like, how does he know his? Well, I suppose May might have told him his name, but again, how does she know? Did they
May
stop
would
to
know
introduce themselves at any point? I don't remember that.
May would know him from as a child, right?
And you're telling me she remembered his name? Really?
Well, yeah. I mean, she would have remembered something like that traumatic, I guess.
Oh, I reckon you would have been too busy fucking worrying about your family all being dead. But, that's just me.
But yeah, well, I mean, that's what
Anyway,
yeah.
Then the best moment in the whole show happened and Lil Lezo dies. That was great. In fact, no, they even fucked that up.
What do you mean?
They're going about this trying to make him look like a badass, like he can beat all these Jedi. He's backtracking to this little bitch and has to pull out a shank, essentially, and go zzz, zzz, zzz. It wasn't exactly a badass way to kill her. Just picture this for a second. Imagine he incapacitates Sol for a second. Like, force pushes him, he hits his head on a tree, and he's slightly blurry vision. And then he's one-on-one with the Padawan. They're fighting. He gets on top easily, and then just cuts her down. in front of him.
Yeah.
It's just so much more impactful than what happened. Because he was like backtracking, and then he had to pull out a sneaky little thing and go zip, zip, zip. And while old mate was watching impotently from the sideline for no reason.
Impotently from the sideline.
For absolutely no reason. It's like it's not that hard to write a good scene in which she dies. And they made him look like they made him look like a sneaky cunt, but not like, you could have made him look like a dominant, scary villain in that moment. And they didn't.
For me, they made him look like a Sith. They do that shit.
See, I much prefer the Maul approach, where Maul basically made what's his name watch as he killed his master.
Yeah, well, you see, that different class of writing, mate.
Yeah, they bested him cleanly in combat. Whereas old mate he can beat all these Jedi, but this one little Lezo, and he's got to take the sneaky route because he's getting his ass handed to him.
Well, we've got to remember the fight choreography in the prequels was done by a very, very competent Nick Gillard, who was well trained, and you could tell the style of fighting. And obviously, not just because of Nick Gillard, but he also had, a very, very seasoned martial artist at that point, Ray Park, playing Maul.
It's not about that. It's about how you kill someone. And this is the problem for me with the ending to the Maul versus Obi-Wan fight. The fight itself is great. The ending.
Are you talking about the one in Rebels?
No, I'm talking about the one in Phantom Menace.
Oh, you're saying, for example,
the fight between Obi-Wan and Maul is awesome, but the ending.
You're saying how he died.
Yeah. The ending's terrible. Genuinely awful. That's the only detractor from it.
I think with that one, he was trying to portray, obviously, it happened so fast and it sort of shocked him. But I can see why people may not like it. I can see it.
It wasn't fast, though. It was so slow. Like he's shown these super quick reflexes, amazing fighter, and all this kind of stuff. The moment where Obi-Wan's hanging is just a completely pointless moment.
See, for me,
because we know he lives.
Yeah, true. Well, see, for me, in that scenario, I would have, when obviously Obi-Wan senses the saber and pulls it towards him. See, for me, it would have made a bit more sense. For example, while he was pulling it, he ignited it, which obviously made or distracted Maul. You know what I mean? And then you could have had him sort of like kick Maul off, not even chop him in half, but assume he dies, which would then help the fact that he came back later.
Chop him in half on the way up.
Yeah.
When he's like, but then that would have been hard to shoot. It was just a bad way to do it. They should have just had Obi-Wan beat him clean.
Yeah, I get it, because they want that sort of like that climactic sort of ending to it. But I mean, like, yeah, like I can see how some people wouldn't have liked that ending, because that initial fight, between three of them, notably for some people is the best one.
It is the best one for me, 100%.
Yes, I've always found it so 50-50 between obviously the one in the Revenge of the Sith versus the one in Phantom Menace. One criticism I've seen, we have to get back to the Acolyte at one point, but one criticism I've seen of the one in Revenge of the Sith was that it exhausted the audience because it went for too long. Which was, I think it was a total of 11 minutes, that fight. But then you look at this episode, and it's longer. Yeah, it's longer. And you don't actually get to see a lot of it. Yeah, but you don't get to see a lot of it, do you?
Not really.
You know it's happening, but you don't actually get to see a lot of it.
Yeah. Nah. Anyway, back on the Acolyte. So then little Lezo's dead, and we get the whole "she was a child" thing. It's like, you were happy to fight alongside her the whole time. And why the fuck would you even bother saying that to him when he doesn't give a shit? Again, it's just shit dialogue.
It is, but she was a child. It's just like, she's your Padawan. she was fucking him up too. Like,
It's just like, well, if she wasn't capable of doing that, then why was she here? It's just a stupid thing to say.
And I expected a lot more of an emotional response for his Padawan getting fucking sashimi in front of him. Like at that
or
point,
like
you'd
when
want.
she charged into battle when he lost his light, when his lightsaber stopped working, she charged into battle. You maybe him saying no.
Well, that's it, because you can see there she attacked out of anger. She was unbalanced, right? She just attacked out of emotion, which is what, in my opinion, legitimately got her killed.
Yeah. Hey,
So,
Tubi.
huh?
In the chat.
Tubi's in it. I don't fucking see him.
Are you looking at private chat or comments?
I was looking at private chat. I'm fucking retarded.
You
Oh,
goose.
God. Oh, Tubi, cunt. We call each other cunt here. Tubi goes by cunt, and he calls us cunt.
G'day, cunt.
G'day, cunt. What's up, man? Oh, he's coming. He's tuning in from Twitter. Look at that. How cool is that? It's working.
Good man. Oh, yeah, it is too.
I miss you. I miss you too. You're at work right now? Well, thank you for joining in at work. Please don't get fired. Or get in trouble.
Or then you can just join in.
Yeah, we had a habit last time. We got Kenobi on his lunch break to come in and meet us. I actually told him.
Well, it wasn't a lunch break, was it? It was a poo break.
He's just having a yarn on YouTube. So Kenobi's actually available on Fridays and Wednesdays.
Oh, nice.
If you want, he said if you well, that's the thing. I said if you want it to be a regular occurrence or just a sort of just a drop in, I'll have another talk about a VPN. You're on a VPN? You had to talk to us on a VPN.
That's interesting.
I'm very confused. Where are you, bro?
Anyway, now we get to another one of the funniest moments in the show. Sol gets bested by a flying cape.
Yeah, that's right. He chucks it at him.
That was hilarious. He
He
does this elaborate spinning move where he pulls off his cape and throws it at him, and Sol just stands there and takes it in the face like a chick on her knees. Oh, fuck me, it was funny. It's just like these are supposed to be the fastest, like most reflexive people in the galaxy, and he just sits there and gets tangled up with his cape. It was so bad.
Yep.
He's tried to kill. At this point, he's already tried to kill May several times because May. This is when May shows up, and now he's got a perfect opportunity. To kill old mate while he's fighting with the cape. He could have just killed him, but he didn't.
Yeah.
But then he force chokes old May or force pulls her in, and then he's physically choking her. Why didn't he just kill her? He sits there kind of threatening to kill her, and kind of, you've been actively tried to kill her several times. So they
good man to you, by the way. So for that deception,
smart man.
Yeah. So the cape comes off, goes to choke May, and this is where Yord dies.
It is where Yord dies, but like, why didn't he kill May? He's already tried a couple of times to kill May and got blocked. And he's got her by the throat, immobilized, with a lightsaber in his hand, and he's just sitting there talking menacingly and doesn't kill her.
Because the plot dictates he needed to live.
Sake, this is weak. It's so bad. Anyway, Sol gets bested by a flying cape, and it was a highlight of the episode for me. That and little Lezo dying.
Yes.
Hilarious stuff.
Absolutely.
But then Sol gives himself up. He puts down his lightsaber because he might kill May. Can we?
I didn't get
please?
that part. I didn't get that part.
That makes zero sense. That's why you didn't get it.
You're right. They're very good at making my brain turn to mush when trying to figure out of why. It's like that meme of Peter Griffin. Why?
Yeah.
I guess as a Jedi, like a Jedi will care about most life forms, right? And especially ones that are
This
to
is
be
one who
executed.
is known to kill 2 Jedi.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, this is, I guess, maybe they're trying to highlight the difference between someone that follows the light and someone that, is a dark side. So action was very good, but Quimir being taken away by bugs when he just killed 4 Jedi Knights with ease, yeah, that was fucking retarded. We're gonna get to that
Yeah,
part.
don't worry, I've got that on my list.
Yeah. So at that point, so what happens after then? Obviously, Yord comes in. They have a
So then
tussle
Yord comes back. Yeah, he basically gets bitched and then gets
and
his
gets
neck
his neck
snapped.
snapped. Yeah. And there's no
Like,
emotion from anyone that Yord dies.
no, they're just like, yeah. And he gets
Yeah, then
tossed to the side, and they're all just like,
literally.
ugh.
Yeah.
Well, on to the next line.
Yeah, the
I'm just
emotion.
like,
Well,
what sense is there in Sol saving her life? Like, what does he think's going to happen? Is that going to make him not kill her when he's already tried to kill her several times?
I think perhaps they're trying to maybe have some sort of retribution because
And then
obviously
what?
there
But
is there's that those sins that they committed, right? Where he's like, I will tell you when we're all done, we'll be back with the ship. Basically. So I guess maybe he's trying to keep those two alive to maybe rectify what he did. But at that point now, Squid Games basically goes back at Smiler Ren, right? They have a fight.
but the thing is, like, he's already killed 6 of your comrades. You think he's not going to kill you?
Sorry, Dave. Are you talking about Mandela Stenberg twerking at us?
Oh my god!
Where
Yeah,
she twerks
the
at us and
music
calls us
video,
oppressive?
if you can call it that. Just
We
literally
support fuck your
AIDS
old
in
discourse, fuck
audiovisual
your old
form.
discourse, whatever the fuck she says. Fuck your couch. You rich motherfucker.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
that.
Chappelle Show. Classic.
Isn't the Chappelle Show good? Yes, if you're talking about that one too, but yeah, we've seen it. I died multiple times watching that. It was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. And then, of course, we get the moment where apparently the Sith were not extinct for a millennium, which I'm sure you can talk about.
So yeah, at this point when he took his mask off, Google Anakin destroyed the Death Star later. It's
Yeah.
yes,
Anakin
I've
blew up the
seen
Death
that.
Star. How many people died on that?
Yeah, I think that was just a bit of a confusion for him, obviously trying to have that sort of perhaps PR spin that he understands the lore, and obviously he got them mixed up and it didn't translate very well. And it's funny, even though he said that, I found Yord as not the worst part of that show. You know what I mean? I
No.
thought
In
sometimes
fact, at
Yord's
times he
character
was the
made
only one trying to make
makes
logical
sense.
decisions.
Yeah.
And then getting told he was an idiot.
He was trying to be relevant. Yeah, well, exactly right. Like he was trying to be relevant. And you know what? Just so we can get this out of the way, like a lot of people say, you need people to be in Star Wars that like Star Wars, or you need directors to direct Star Wars that like Star Wars. I don't necessarily agree with it. With that statement, I understand that there needs to be a competent story group that understands the lore and Star Wars. They need to go forward, but we have to remember, like even in the original trilogy, especially with Irvin Kershner, who directed Empire Strikes Back, which is objectively probably the best one out of the lot, right? George hired him because he had a high proficiency in character development. So he was actually George's teacher or lecturer at the university he went to for film school. And he knew Irvin Kershner was really good at character development. So he hired him to obviously develop out those characters in the second one because he needed that. And that worked like a treat, right? Evidently. And then obviously you had the other one, I think he passed away, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, that directed Return of the Jedi. And that was still, fantastic. So, you had Lucas, who did obviously A New Hope, and then the last two were done by different directors, but you still had Lucas down their throat and down their back with, sort of theming, tonality, and the whole lore. So you can see where that mixture of you need one guiding vision that's brought to life by a competent director. So imagine playing a role not learning the lore. God's sake, Hayden watched the entire Clone Wars, prepared the Kenobi show. He did, but unfortunately, the Kenobi show was a hot pile of fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like, let's not get into that one. If I have to, like the rewatchability on Disney Star Wars is quite low, unfortunately.
Quite low. It's through the fucking floor.
Like I watched the Acolyte maybe episodes twice, once with me, once with you, and we're both fucking having a good giggle. So they're getting views for us having a fucking laugh. But back to what I was saying, like I think, yes, once you're acting in it, you can probably either be very good at taking direction or you do what you said to be what Hayden did and actually watch a character that you're playing. So if there's already an already established character, yes, best to watch material that you have available on their personas and personality. Where I saw that translate across very well was obviously even Ezra Bridges in Ahsoka's portrayal. You know, I think the casting for those actors was really good. Where with Sabine and Ezra, I thought they were casted very well. I can't remember his name, but the actor who played Ezra, I thought he actually did a really good job at portraying the personality of Ezra. So yes, if you've watched the Clone Wars and you watch that reference material, I think obviously it helps the actors. But in terms of the directors, I firmly don't believe that you need to be a fan of it. I firmly believe that there needs to be a story group that is a fan of it. They can keep the lore in check. That story vision going forward, they have to be Star Wars fans.
You just have to. You have to understand the world you're writing in. That's all you need to know. You don't. You have to like it. You just have to understand it.
But if we are to draw parallels with this, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, all those actors there felt it was their duty to be true to Tolkien.
Yep.
And they were a very, very high class of actor, weren't they?
They were.
You had some fucking named actors and stage actors there. Like, they were good. Even obviously, if you argue Orlando Bloom being his first gig, but Orlando Bloom is no chump. He's a good actor, right? But the fact that you had...
he's passable.
I think he's good, but you had, people like Sir Christopher Lee and, Ian McKellen, like, they're big actors.
Yeah.
They're big actors. So, and they all, and sorry, the guy who played Aragorn. What's his name again?
Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, but they all had that vision, which was like, to keep the Tolkien's
they knew
alive.
the material.
But they had the respect. That's it. But it was respect. And that's one thing I'm not getting now with these new actors. Like, it's so shit.
Because they don't. They don't respect. They don't care.
They don't. That's right. They all want to see themselves in Star Wars. They want to do these self-inserts. It's like, fucking, yeah, you can draw inspiration from the story.
Since when did you have to see yourself in something to enjoy it?
Dumb, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fucking dumb. Next Star Wars character has to be an Italian living in fucking Australia from a migrant family. Else it's racist. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That has to have a Spanish friend called Dave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no, fuck off. Dumb. But yeah, so back to what we're saying with Kylo, right? Kylo, dickhead. Smilo Ren. When he said, hang on a second. You can tell Rosario Dawson cared a lot about Ahsoka. She did an incredible job.
Really?
Ooh.
Really?
Oof.
I thought she was... I haven't seen much of it. I've seen little bits and pieces, but I've seen one expression, and she looked like cardboard the whole time.
So Rosario Dawson in The Mandalorian did a good portrayal of Ahsoka. How she was directed to play Ahsoka in the Ahsoka series seemed too over the top stoic. Right? Now, I can understand Ahsoka's personality. One, she's older, she's matured, but two, obviously having her be very jaded with everything that's going on. That I can understand. Oh, 100%. I mean, the Mandalorian. Yeah, that I can understand. So I think the only detriment to Rosario Dawson in the Ahsoka series was she was obviously directed to be a bit too stoic, for my opinion. You know what I mean? She was very, very stoic.
She
So
had
maybe,
the personality of a wet carrot.
yeah, you know what I mean? She had the personality of a flounder, 100%. But, she was trying to be that stoic Jedi teacher with Sabine for some reason, because apparently Sabine can pull
See, like,
force
if they were
abilities out her
trying to
ass
draw
now.
parallels to like Qui-Gon made it interesting. Like Liam Neeson played his part well to seem like the wise teacher in that. She's just boring.
And the thing is, like, when you try and draw parallels, like Qui-Gon, and you know what? It's actually, well, you make a good point here, right?
They're the only points I make, mate.
Well, with Ahsoka, right? People have to remember that she died on Mortis, and obviously an archetype resurrected her, being, well, the light side of the Force, right? The embodiment. What was the name?
I don't give a fuck.
What was the name? Morai, right? The daughter. So she was basically resurrected by her life force. So she is, in all essence, has the light side of the Force in her, from that deity. So the parallel being drawn where Qui-Gon served the Force, that wise teacher, always put the first and foremost the will of the Force. They could have done that more with Ahsoka, because Ahsoka, for all intensive purposes, is also an embodiment of the light. She has that spirit guide always with her. She has Morai with her. Now, that part of Star Wars isn't everyone's cup of tea, because some people think the first 3 films are canon, and that's it. I firmly tell those people to suck a fucking fat cock, because there's more than the first 3. And they shouldn't be held as solid precedents, in my opinion. There's always room to build on lore. Now, you can tell me that you prefer the first 3 and how it established it, because I think some people prefer the simplification of the Force, where it's so simplified that it's left to the interpretation of the audience, which I can understand may have a greater effect. Like, you can have Obi-Wan saying, it surrounds us, it binds us, it, penetrates us, and binds the galaxy together, whatever the line was. It's an energy field. Like, some people preferred that into interpretation. That's why they didn't like the midichlorians. They thought you're explaining something too much and taking the mysticism out of it, which I can understand both.
It's like giving the Joker an origin story. It removes the mystery, and hence part of what makes it cool.
See, when I heard the midichlorians, I didn't think that did that personally. It was like you're trying to make sense of it. But at the end of the day, life also creates the Force. Like when we had that explanation of how it works, the cosmic and the living Force. So I think people might not like getting too deep into it and wanting the mystery. Cool. Different strokes for different folks. But I didn't necessarily think that by expanding on the lore, you're destroying it. And at the end of the day, people have to understand George Lucas has the jurisdiction to do what the fuck he wants with it.
Yeah, he does.
That's his. Like it or not. Agree with it or not. Critique it, yes. Be objective about it. But yeah, look, for me, the original trilogy always stands true as the best. I will always say that. I grew up on the original trilogy. But to say that that's where canon lies, it's like, nah. It doesn't. It's where George said it was. The first 6 films and the Clone Wars. Not season 7 with the drug mules. The Latina drug mules. Because Disney likes to stereotype. Fucking weirdos. But anyways, recircling back to Smilo Ren. Again,
nice tangent.
Yeah. So when he takes his helmet off, and Saul's like, "What are you?" And he goes, "Well, some Jedi might call me Sith." Everyone collectively lost their shit, because they're like, "See, he's a Sith." Well, it was a bit of a not so clever play on words, was it? You might call me a Sith. Now, there's two ways this can go. He's not a Sith, and he's playing on the ignorance of the Jedi.
Catch you, Tubi.
Thanks for the show. We'll listen to the rest later. I love the podcast theme. It's perfect for work. Yes, the cultured swines. That was Dave's idea. Catch you soon, Tubi. Fuck, I was derailed. Yeah, so like you could be playing on their ignorances, like they only see sort of, the light of the Jedi and the Sith, but then that necessarily wouldn't hold true, because remember when not so Kiadi Mundi was like, could it be a splinter cell of Jedi or something worse? What is that worse thing? We don't know. Or it could be a Sith. Now, drawing back into Legends, at this time, the Sith Lords that are alive is Darth Tenebris, which is Darth Plagueis's master, right? So Darth Plagueis obviously becomes Creamy Sheev Palpatine's master.
Creamy Sheev.
I love Platoon for that. It's so good. And though in between this time, Tenebris had another apprentice, another student called Darth Venomous. Darth Venomous, I believe, by Legends, actually tried to train his own apprentice, one of which, are you ready for it, was a criminal or a convicted criminal.
That doesn't really matter.
Well, it does, because May is a criminal.
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, you see the parallels they may be trying to draw, right? They're trying to probably
Mate, I don't think they're reading that much into it. I really don't.
You'd be surprised. Maybe there is a glimmer of, I'm gonna look at Legends for 3 seconds with Leslie Headland, where that's where they could be going. So they could be making Cormier Darth Tenebris if he does go down the Sith path. Which, if that happens in Legends, obviously, Plagueis finds this person and eliminates him.
None of this makes the story any better.
No, I'm just trying to give maybe sense of how they're going to go with this dark side point. So in this dark side point, maybe that way. Now, how does that excuse the fact that he's revealed himself to the Jedi? It doesn't fucking excuse it one bit.
See, my whole thing with this is, why is he there?
Cormier.
Why is he there?
Oh, like in that situation?
Why is he even on the planet?
Well, here's the thing, right? It's like they tried to do these back and forths, like talking about, the Sith Lord when, when Cormier wasn't Smilo. He's like, how are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? How are you going to kill it without a weapon? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, the master was breathing down her neck to finish the job, which basically contradicts himself. It's just like, that's
a very un-Sith thing to do, isn't it? Wouldn't they just be like, if you can't get it done, you're not worthy?
Correct. You don't helicopter parent your students
them the whole way.
Yeah, very un-Sith-like. Which brings me to my other point. So it could be Tenebris, and it could be obviously an origin for the Knights of Ren, Kylo's thing. Because Kylo Ren's theme plays at the end, if you noticed it.
No.
So, we'll get to
I didn't pay close enough attention to those movies to learn anyone's theme, because they weren't memorable.
Anyway, it's you hear it after he finds not May dead.
Oh, it's so dumb.
It's so shit. So going to that point, so when he takes his helmet off, and they have that reveal. Now, my problem with this is that if he says, you might call me Sith, you would think there would be a different reaction from the Jedi.
There's just no response, eh?
Because at this point, Yeah, he's like, at this point, it's 900 years since I, as you know, not even like this is impossible. Um, you know, he's just like, why would you risk exposure? And he's like, because I want to wield the power freely.
Well,
Okay.
you know what I found funny? To me, the dialogue throughout that entire scene sounded like the writers justifying the scene, if you know what I mean. So, like he says, "Why would you risk showing yourself to me?" As if because that's something a logical person would ask. Like a fan is like, "Why is he there? Why is he risking this shit?" He goes, "Well, I was wearing a mask." It's like, but why? What? You don't need a mask if you don't show yourself. What? Ah,
And, you know, people thought that was good.
I don't know how. It
They're like,
literally,
haha, you made
as
it
I was
funny.
listening to it, the first thing I thought of was it sounds like they're trying to justify their decisions, like with him wearing the mask and why he's there,
Mm-hmm.
to someone who's going to ask the question. It didn't sound like natural dialogue.
No, it was stupid. Like, they may as well look at the fucking screen and the camera and like speak right to the audience, right?
But also the paradox or the whatever you would call it of asking a masked man who he is.
So, what's next in the notes then after that point?
Right. So Yord shows up. One thing I wanted to bring up. The process of killing Yord is not slow. Yet again,
Oh, we're going back
old
to your.
mate. Well, just quickly. So basically, he grabs Yord, spins him around, holds him there, says a couple of words, and then snaps his neck. All the while, they just sat there and watched.
Yeah.
Again, impotently. Impotently. Sol just sits there and watches him kill Yord and then throw him away. It's just like, what the fuck? Why is he not moving? And then a second later, he picks up his lightsaber and it's working again. It's like, why didn't you do that before? What is this shit?
Yeah, it was fucking horrible.
Like literally, he starts to get angry, picks up his lightsaber, and it works again. It's just like not even any sputtering; it just works. It's like, why didn't you try that before?
Mm-hmm.
Like that, Soul is one of the worst characters I've ever seen. He's so bad, shockingly bad.
They're all pretty bad, to be honest. I mean, Soul's done some blunders, written some blunders in, right? Like, you know, like, for example,
No, but it's not
is an
just his
accessory to.
blunders; it's his dialogue. His dialogue is consistently awful. He consistently makes terrible decisions that defy all logic.
Oh yeah, when
It's
they
it's
find him as an accessory to murder, we'll let you off with a warning. It's like, no, you
yeah,
won't.
yeah. You could have ended the entire series right there.
It's like, no, we will not do that.
And if he
He's
was
an accessory to
capable of
murder.
fucking them all up, why didn't he do it then when there was less of them?
I still feel bad for the random apothecary guy that he offed, and no one in the community gave a fuck about.
No
Like,
one's
yeah,
asking questions.
that throwaway line. It's like, oh yeah, I took care of the guy that worked here. It's like, no one
Yeah,
cares, huh? Poor gun.
yeah.
Fuck me. He made everyone their Panadol and fucking got no thanks for it. Didn't even notice he was gone.
One thing
What a
I
shit
found funny.
community. Yeah.
So when he's holding May, and I think Sol's asked him why, or all that shit, and he's talking about like, why would you kill her? And he goes, she exposed me. Like, what?
No, she didn't. You did it
No,
yourself,
she didn't. You exposed yourself. If you're talking about your face, that was Lil Lezo, and she was going to betray you, but she hadn't yet done that. She hadn't done anything.
Yeah, within that
It's
time, she ran
literally a
away 6
pointless
times.
line that means nothing and is actually factually incorrect.
Yeah.
They don't. This is what I mean about it's deliberately written badly. There is not. That makes no sense at all. Even though it's just a throwaway line, it makes no sense at all. Anyway, they just sat and watched him kill Yord, made no attempt to stop him. All good. Then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, Osha remembers how to use a stun gun and shoots May with it. and this time she hits her from further away in a much more complicated shot. And funnily enough, May does the same thing she did before, where she stops and looks at her and lets her shoot her. When you know she's going to shoot her, she shot at you last time twice. Why would you stop?
Yeah.
It's just so stupid. It's never ending. It's actually never ending. It's AIDS, man.
Never ending HIV. So, fast forwarding that point, Sol has a fucking go at him, eh? Has a go out of anger. He seems to get the shits. Has some decent fighting scenes and choreography. And
Yep.
then what happens, mate? What happens? He bests Smilo Ren.
Yep.
And what we're all thinking, you know, he's going to end him, end the evidence of anything happening. But what happens, Dave? What happens? He gets interrupted, doesn't he?
What? Yeah. Oh my god. What this again? Again, no one in this writing room has stopped to ask the question why.
Yep.
So he beats Smilo Ren. He goes through this really elaborate, slow process of turning him around with his lightsaber within striking distance the whole time. He could have killed him at any time, but just didn't. Turns him around so that he can look him in the eye and kill him. By the time all that's done, Osha shows up and is like, no, for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
All right, can we have a brainstorming session on why Sol wouldn't kill him?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I have a question. Why the fuck would Sol not kill him?
So at that point, he was going to kill him.
Yes.
He was. You saw him. He was going to go slice his head off. But for some reason, Osha comes in and goes, Sol. There's like, the Jedi do not harm the unarmed. And then he, Quimir picks up his saber and goes, rules, 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 blah, blah, blah. And then she picks up her fucking robot, turns the light on, walks up to him really slowly, didn't sense him, and stabs him in the fucking back.
Yeah, he doesn't sense her at all or hear her coming.
Because in her eyes, instead of a Jedi, ending the pain quickly, she'd rather a bunch of venomous, ravenous, eating moths rip this kind of apart, eh?
Yes.
And he floats up in the air. I'm not understanding why there's a fascination with floating.
It's this shit plot device to let him escape.
And then what happens, Dave? We go back to Osha, and
before we get there, can we just bring up the fact that they attack the second the light comes on?
Yes.
Meanwhile, there has been this massive lightsaber fight going on for how long?
Yes.
And they just happen to attack right now.
They left their brains on the park bench and went to work without it. Yes. Now, this brings me to something very contentious. I just want to make a comment. They had a writer's strike, complaining they don't get paid enough for this shit.
If anything, they're proving they should get paid less.
I wouldn't pay you a fucking handful of corn for what the fuck you produced.
No. Well, you can have the corn that's come out of my shit. You know, when you eat corn and you can see it in your poo, they can have that.
Oh yeah.
I'd happily give them that. I can't think of much more that I would be willing to pay for writing of this quality.
Oh yeah.
You could find better writers than this on Fiverr.
Should we try?
This is what I mean, dude.
Should we try it as an experiment one day? I'll pay someone,
dude,
to fix the arclight on Fiverr and see what I come up with.
An AI would have written a better story than this. Or do you think this was written by AI?
See, the question about AI is hard, right? Because AI used as a tool and not for as an easier way to produce something. I think there's a fundamental difference in that, right? So AI, and especially in writing, people think AI is smart. AI cannot think, right? It doesn't think. And AI doesn't have emotions. It doesn't it can't have that impactful emotional scenes, right? And it will only sort of reiterate what it already knows or what it can already get. So the AI is only as smart as the current humans that are around today, or what information has been fed. So in terms of AI being innovative, no, it's not, and it won't be. It will never create, in my opinion, something that's truly groundbreaking and innovative and imaginative, because it can only work off the
What it already
the
has.
information it already has.
Adrian, while we're here and we've
Yeah,
got this lightsaber fight on screen, can we
I
just
can't see it.
analyze? You can't? Why can't
No, you
you see
you
it?
can you can see it in the. Where can you see it?
It's on the screen for me.
Do you know why?
I'm assuming you put it there.
No.
It's the Twitter feed.
Yeah. It's because I had something else up. Um, so I put it up before, but I wanted to hide that for a second. I want to get to that, but since you wanted the lightsaber fight on screen, yes.
Okay, go back to the start of it.
Is the sound coming through? Yes.
Yep. I just want to look at the choreography of this. So you see lightsabers flashing away. Look left. There's lightsabers twirling over there where there's nobody there. Like why? She's just stepping past them.
Wait, hang on.
Look at him. Just straight past. How do you miss? He didn't really do anything extravagant for you to miss
Yeah,
that
there
badly.
are. You're right.
Like,
There's
they're
twirling
just
lightsabers for no
stepping
reason.
past him. They're just
What is
stepping
she
past him.
doing?
You have a stun gun. Like do something. Or see kick. Go back a bit. I want to see that again. Show the kick. Back a little bit more. Go to halfway. That was just a straight kick, and dude was busy twirling his lightsaber, so he missed it. I'm sorry, that's shithouse choreography. He missed a straight kick to the belly, and there was no feinting, nothing like that, so that he couldn't see it coming. He's just busy twirling his lightsaber by his side for some reason, and gets kicked in the chest.
I
This is
suppose.
not making him look good. This is making them look really retarded.
Sorry, I think at this point we have to say thank you, Stephanie Ann, for having this on her Twitter feed.
Yeah.
So we'll get back to that point in a second. What were you sort of saying before? Sorry, before that. No, I was saying something.
Yes, you were.
What was I
My
saying?
apologies.
Do you remember what we were talking about?
No.
Shit.
I'm just going to keep bringing it up. Why the fuck is there so much kung fu in a Star Wars show? Everybody was kung fu lightsaber fighting. It's so bad. Like, just why did we need what if we had a kung fu lightsaber fight?
Now I'm trying to remember what the point I was on trying to make before. Because where were we up to in the story?
You jumped to the part where Osha stopped him from killing Sol.
No, we got that. Then she stuck her droid up his ass and he flew off.
Oh, the flying things.
Hmm.
She sticks the light on his back, and they just respond first time, despite the fact that they've had their lightsabers out twirling around for fucking 40 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. and then at that point, they go. They at that point, how did they get separated?
Who?
Well, after the Sith Lord flies off,
That was
Osha,
so bad. Fuck me dead.
Osha and May have another tussle, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah. So this is one of the things I wanted to bring up. So how long is a stun gun supposed to work for?
A fair while.
Because Osha clearly hits May with it,
Yeah,
and she goes down.
yeah.
So you'd think she'd be incapacitated for a while.
I think it's meant to be like. It seems to be like an hour or two, right?
Well, no, because 2 minutes later she's on her feet and shoots old mate in the back with it. She somehow gets hold of it and shoots Soul in the back with it a couple of minutes later.
Mm.
It's just like, why did you even have
Wait, how did she
dudes
get
in
her
the
hands
scene?
on it?
Like, what? I can't remember how she got her hands on it. Ocean must have dropped it or something. I don't know. Oh god,
No, that's right. So she stuns Squid Games, and this is where they have that tussle, that crap dialogue. It's just like,
yeah.
sort of come with me, and it's just like, no, they've brainwashed you, blah blah blah. Then they have that sort of
Oh,
back and forth.
before we do that, Smilo was telling Osha about what the Jedi did, and for some reason she just believes him. It's like this dude's killing all these Jedi that you considered your friends and stuff, and he's telling you, "Oh, what did the Jedi did this and that," and she just goes, "Sol, what did you do?" It's like, why would you listen to him?
Well, he didn't really tell her. He was just insinuating that they did some atrocities, right?
Yeah, he was, but like, why would you listen to him? Sure, like,
Because Leslie Headland.
it's just yeah, it's dead set. I've literally got in my notes cicada abduction. Lol.
Cicada abduction.
This badass Sith Lord got captured by cicadas. That's such a weak fucking. Oh,
Stupid, wasn't it?
so
And
dumb.
especially when you consider there's so many flashing lightsabers through that time.
And from what you
And,
could tell, it was like, wasn't that the whole point? Was going to kill him? So why didn't you just let Soul kill him before?
exactly right.
You
But
stupid bitch.
I find it funny that the only thing that attracts them after all that time was basically like a fucking cheap Kmart torch.
Yeah. But then May's, no, not May, Osha and what's her name, Soul are sitting there having a little chat, just completely ignoring everyone that's dead around them. Just completely ignoring them.
Do you think it's stupid that they named the Korean character Seoul?
I didn't even think about it.
It's the capital of Korea.
I wonder if they thought about that
They
and thought
didn't,
they were
because
clever.
they're retarded. Because like I keep pointing out, they're not really good at not
No,
stereotyping characters. Like in Clone Wars season 7, they
they
made the
might as well
two
have called him Kimchi.
legit. They made the fucking two Latinas in Clone Wars drug mules. They made two black girls fatherless, and now they fucking named the Korean actor Soul.
Soul, yeah.
Yes, you are creative, you fucking
Next
idiot.
one, there's going to be an Indian character named Curry.
Sanjeet or something. Yeah.
And he drives taxis.
Yeah, he drives taxis on Coruscant. He's just an Uber driver or something. Oh my god! Like, I mean, the thing is, Lucas drew, I think, cultural similarities
Well,
with
yeah, of course.
characters, right?
Everyone
Which is
does.
fine, right? I actually don't see a problem with it. Obviously, like the Numenoidians they seemed like Chinese commerce businessmen. Greedo was quite clearly like a like one of my people, like a sort of Italian mechanic person, like, I need something real, only money. Like, you know what I mean, like, they made him a flying Italian, like, and like the thing is, as the Italian, I'm like, I don't care, bro. No Italian looked at that and went, I'm offended. No, I'm telling you, none of us did. Like, it's just like, chill the fuck out. But yeah, they don't have a good track record, and I just thought of that now at 12:57 in the morning that they called the Korean character Sol. Yes, it's spelled differently. I get that, but it still phonetically sounds like Sol.
Yeah.
Like, do you think he got offended?
Probably not.
Do you think he looked at his paycheck and went, "I'm going to ignore that they called me the capital of my own
Yeah, is
country"?
there an Australian bloke in the show named Canberra?
Canberra, yeah, Krennic. They got close.
Yeah. All right.
Good
Anyway,
actor, by
so
the way.
now you get that shit conversation with May and the other bitch, the sister. What's her name? Osha.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So they're having their conversation, and May literally just says, I did everything for you. Everything I've just done, I was doing it for you. It's like, you didn't know she was, you thought she was dead.
Hmm.
You literally said in previous episodes you thought she was dead. So that also makes absolutely no sense in your own world, in your own show. Like, how does, make it end, please.
Yeah, pretty silly. So speeding that confrontation up, they basically replay the whole back and forth, come with me, this and that and the other. They end up having a tussle. Fannie Mae fucking force pushes her, locks her unconscious, contradicting her actions once again of her coming, first running away 7 times and saying, "Come with me." And then she decides to do the most cringiest thing in the fucking world. Take a bow, Leslie fucking Headland. Guess what? What? What?
I just want to point out
Yeah.
another nitpick.
Yeah.
A blade as hot as a lightsaber, that would be burning her. That would be melting her armor holding it that close.
So there's a thing that actually don't emit heat.
What?
Like around them. They're not
So then
hot.
how do they melt doors?
Well, once it touches the blade, it'll cut through and melt it, but it doesn't emit heat
That's
around
not how heat works.
Hey man, I don't make the rules.
That's not that's not how heat works.
I don't make the rules.
That's fucking dumb. That's just the best haircut ever.
I
Well
almost
done.
took up smoking after this fucking scene. It was so stupid. I was like, let me cope hard. I'm like,
I like that she didn't miss a single one, and she all got them exactly right. And
why is this an epic scene? Listen to the music.
Yeah. For a second, I thought she was going to off herself. You know what's funny? When they cut, you know how they were fighting earlier in the episode, and they cut down those 3 trees,
Yeah.
and they showed like they were glowing for the entirety of the fight because of the heat of the lightsaber. Not here. What happened? That would just light her hair on fire. It's so hot that it would literally just light her hair on fire.
But what if she missed? Like the stance and everything. It's funny, but she looks at her sister and is like, "Yeah, that's about right." Like, and why are their lightsabers so fucking thick in this?
Yeah, they are. They're
They're real fucking girthy.
fleshlights.
Made from Leslie Headlands.
Get old, yeah. They probably are, eh? Just pocket pussies from their own collection.
And like, pocket pussies. And like, look, she's like, clearly looking at her sister like, yeah, that length.
Can I point out how the fuck did she get knocked out? She got force pushed off a small ledge.
I think she hit the rocks behind her.
There was no rocks. She landed on a completely flat bit of ground. And I would also like to point out that's the second time she's been knocked out in less than an hour. She's got to have some kind of brain damage.
See her hair singeing.
There's not even steam coming off her hair, like just nothing.
I think there was a little bit of it. Hang on.
Oh, like right when it happened, but it just dies immediately.
Why are you looking up, you psycho? Like, what's this? Why is everything she's meant to do like epic and angelic? Like, did young girls all around the world in America look at that and
Hang
go,
on.
"Yes,
Go,
slay"?
go back to it and pause it on the face.
That's creepy. Huh?
Go back to it and pause it on when she's making the face. You're right. I didn't even think about it. It's like, what is the dramatization for? Like, she's acting like she's lifting some great weight off her shoulders. This is so dumb.
Unless
But like,
this
have
is
you
some
noticed
sort
that
of
they
woman
do
thing
this?
that we don't
They do this
understand.
grandiose shit for pretty much anything the women do. It was the same with the Power of Many scene, where do you remember at the start? We have not even broken down episode 3 yet. Do you realize this? This is going to be for the next potty. We have to break down episode 3.
Oh, 100%. Hang on, I just want to go to Nerd Rock. You gotta love him. You gotta love him.
Hilarious.
Okay, where are we?
But like, think back to that scene in episode 3 where, like, in the same thing as her getting that stupid. What is she doing?
Didn't I show you this? This is the mixtape that she released.
Oh, no, I know, but it's just like, why?
She's an idiot.
But yeah, go back to if you go back to episode 3, the opening part of that awful scene, which I contend could be the worst scene ever shot. That scene, the opening of that scene, they're doing all the hand gestures and stuff, and they're doing like this interpretive dance, and then it all ends, and the black chick stands up. It's just like, what was that for?
I love this part. The unnecessary.
They literally have to breathe. Jesus Christ. All right, no, dude, we've got to save this for the next potty because we've got to break this down. I could do an entire episode on this one scene and why it's so bad. Just that scene alone could fill an entire podcast.
Yeah.
But I just like, why do they do this grandiose thing? Like, it's meant to be cinematic. Like, they're introducing the women. They're doing this interpretive dance, throwing their hands in the air and doing all this weird shit. And then they all just sink down to the ground at the same time. The black chick stands up. It's like, was that all giving the black chick the power to stand? What was the point? What was the point, Adrian? What were they doing that for?
I don't know.
Like, they just didn't give any thought to it. They just have them dancing around for no reason, and then she stands up. So it's like, Peter Griffin, why?
Why? Joe, what still gets me, like, every time is that fucking random woman at the front who's rolling her eyes and orgasm, and then she goes, and I'm just like, okay, he's psycho.
Like, why was that included? Dude, I'm telling you, I've made my mind up. It's deliberate. It can't.
I don't know. If I was the director and that happened during filming, I'm like, you right, mate? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Just thought it'd be great to second time. It's like, can we get a new extra in here? This chick's
fucked.
Wrong with it.
It's just like,
and whoever hired her, you're fired.
Yeah, it's like, can you it's not a good moment to improv a fucking weird cackle in there. Fucking hyena. But anyway.
Last couple of things I want to bring up.
Yeah.
At the end there, when Osha and May are having their little chat, May says, "I'm doing what I came here to do. Arrest you." That's not what she went for.
No, absolutely not.
That was the Jedi's job.
Yes.
Why was she even there?
To lure her out.
Was that necessary? They knew what she was going for. The lure was kill Naka.
Well, I still don't understand the whole point of, her being arresting her when her whole point was to, give herself up in the end, wasn't
authority
it?
does she have to arrest anybody?
Citizen's arrest, mate. Apparently, Kmart. But it's no. But at that point, it's the point is dumb. It's just like she doesn't want to even be arrested. She said she would give herself up, which then is completely negated by her running away. And then she negates herself again when she's like, "Come with me, I love you." Force pushes her, fucks her, basically fucking leaves her for dead. Gives herself a fucking lightsaber haircut, and now she's Osha. Basically leaves her there to die with fucking, Ezra Miller. Like, your emotion, she has bipolar. This is the most bipolar thing I've ever seen. So, like, it is dumb, and the writer is not good. I will not say that you are not good. Whoever wrote this, no. My migrant family
last
one better than you.
How can Sol not tell it's Osha? I mean, she literally has a Force tattoo on her head.
That's literally, I'm like, you know what? Her dreads aren't that thick, mate. Like, just look at her forehead a little bit harder. It's stupid. But then the person
surely he could also sense it,
right? 100%. This is where the writing is terrible. But they're going to leave it up to Basil, our weird otter that was nowhere near the fighting, who just scurried away and made his also back to the ship.
He just shows up when it's convenient for the plot and disappears when it's convenient for the plot.
Yeah, and I'm like, I know a lot of people like Basil, but I'm going to say this: they said they couldn't actually have a fight with Kilnaka because it wasn't in the budget, and Yoda wasn't in the budget, but they blew their budget on a demented, screeching otter that sniffed Wookiee underwear. Let that sink in. Because there's got to be some furries at Lucasfilm for that one.
Sniffing Wookiee grundies.
Well, I don't understand. What are you doing with an unwashed Wookiee garment, you freak? Who kept that for 10 years, bro? That's my point. Like, I'm like, dude, you psychos. Hang on, we got his G-string. Fuck.
Not to mention, he followed that trail, which was over a year old.
The trail was?
Yeah, remember they give it the thing, he sniffs it, but dude's been lost in the forest for over a year. So he has not been to this point of the forest in over a year.
I thought it was more than that.
No, it was a year. It was 10 years was the white guy that killed himself.
Oh, yeah. Because, that's right. That's right. 16 years after the event, in 6 years, he became a Jedi Master and bolded. And then for 10 years, he floated until fucking May got there. Even though he says, I've been waiting for you, despite her being there 5 minutes beforehand.
See, I'm at the point now with the show. I'm done with all the nitpicks and stuff, but just generally as to what's going on, I have no idea, and not in a good way. It's like, what is even happening? What's next? It's like, old mate's got Osha. Who cares? Like, what's May gonna do?
Well, at the end of this is like
now we've just got no idea what anyone's motivations are.
Well, if I can find a video here in the Twitter sphere, someone's gotta have it. Where basically Squid Games finds her. Not Squid Games.
We're obviously not supposed to think about the fact that May undressed her sister and then stole her clothes. And when you come back, her clothes are not lying on the ground anywhere.
Well, yeah. So at this
that was the other one. It's just a stupid little thing. When May shoots Squid Games in the back, he falls directly at Osha's feet.
Yep.
And then they cut away for a second and they cut back to these two who haven't moved. She's still holding the weapon and then she just drops it. And you see from her point of view where Osha is, and Squid Games isn't there.
G'day, gents. What's the topic today? The new episode that we had the displeasure of watching. So we were just floating onto this point here. We got up to where
there's a whole lot of nitpicks about it.
Where this kind of Ezra Miller finds not May, Which, by the way, obviously he knows it's not May because of that tattoo. First of all, but here he heals her again, but she has a random gash. Well, that's what the fuck else is he doing?
I had no idea what he was doing there.
Well, there's a random gash in there, so I'm not sure if that's meant to insinuate that she shanked her sister.
Yeah, I don't know what that's supposed to be. I didn't understand that.
I'm not watching it. Oh, you can rewatch the podcast. We go through
it.
So he does that, and then he puts that all over her.
He looked like he wanted to finger it, didn't he?
Well, he's not grabbing her hand. Is he grabbing her hand there, or is he grabbing a handful of her cheeks? That's right. But at that point, his half a helmet is there. By the way, it's daytime. Yes, I was correct.
Yeah.
Within half an hour of them fighting, it turned to daylight. So he went from killing her to force healing her and covering up and caressing her.
I just have
I'm not watching anymore. No. That's where it's going. You can just join us and you can join the discussion and we can talk you through what happens. Then you can be like, because there's a lot of those. If you remember The Simpsons, Ben, when Sideshow Bob steps on a rake and he's like, ugh. That's what we're feeling like right now every time we go through it. So anyway, he went from
this is one of the better episodes.
Yeah, he went from a murderous rampage to doing this.
It's like why does he care for her? Why?
Exactly. And this is the point I was saying. I know you missed it, but a little bit of Kylo Ren's theme started playing here.
I reckon you're reading too much into it.
I might be. Or Leslie thinks she's smart, and he's obviously an origin for the Knights of Ren. So that was my point when he says,
"Who cares about the Knights of Ren, though?"
Well, the sequels. Crap. Yeah, of course. I mean, as a concept, I didn't hate it. Hey, I thought it would have been like something cool to explore if it was done correctly. But that's where he goes back to his. No, because the writers are stupid. Yeah. But that's when he got. Well, they completely. Well, that was Rian Johnson's fault.
Well, no point talking about it because they were pointless.
Yeah, exactly. Like, especially in the first scene we see of Kylo and Snoke in The Last Jedi, Kylo, the mighty Knights of Ren. You know what I mean? I was like, okay. What do we do with that? Fuck all. So yeah, the helmet is sort of reminiscent of Kylo's a little bit, and they try and they play that theme. So maybe instead of Sith, it could be an Origins for that, because he says, Jedi, like, you may call me Sith, or it could be obviously my theory where, because there's a lot of parallels to Darth Venomous, that has an acolyte that is a wanted criminal, which is what you see here with him and May.
Yeah, that is basically it, eh?
Yeah, literally. I was like, oh yeah, the Lights of Ren.
Oh, it's so bad.
And that's how it ends off.
Yeah, this is what I mean. After all that, I have no idea where this is going, and not in a good way. It's like everyone's motivations are so shit. Like, they just keep changing for absolutely no reason. So now I've got no idea what May's doing, and I've got no idea what old mate's doing with her. It's like this. What are we supposed to care about here? I'm confused.
No, you're correct. It is absolutely right. It's like, what are we supposed to care about here?
Because at this point, because the Jedi think he's dead, so he could go into hiding.
The Jedi think who's dead?
Smilo Ren. They think he's dead. He could go back into hiding.
I don't think they can do that though, because as we see in the trailers,
they won't do that because then there's no show.
Well, in the trailers, we don't actually leave the island yet, or wherever they are, the planet, because we see fucking Miss Granny Smith come with a limp dick lightsaber whip.
Oh my god!
And if we have her whipping any of those girls, it's going to be pretty questionable again by Disney. But I'm not sure what they're going to do with that unless she whips Squid Games. Not Squid Games, fucking discount Ezra Miller. I don't know, but I think it's not beyond Leslie Headland to be nepotistic to have her wife come in and save the day.
Not beyond her. I'm putting that as a $1.06 favorite.
That's what I'm saying. It's not beyond her. Like she'll do it.
Jesus Christ.
Like I wouldn't be surprised. But it's interesting to see how it's going to wrap up in terms of, not that it's going to matter because I've literally disregarded this as not canonical at all in one bit, but it's, what they're going to do. Is it going to be a Knight of Ren? Is it going to be a Sith? Is everyone going to die? Are they going to think they escape and at the end we get a reveal? Because apparently they said they might have going to have a, what do you call it? A season 2. So are we going to have, the real Sith come kill fucking Ezra Bridger, fucking Ezra Miller from Temu?
Adrian, if this gets to season 2, I'm right.
Yes. I'll concede. So maybe it could lead into that, like where we actually get Plagueis and Tenebris and they off discount Ezra Miller.
Mate, you're operating under the assumption that they give a shit about the law. They don't.
Well, but they clearly don't. They clearly don't. What I do think is that
they're making their own law. They don't care about what's established. Stop hanging on to what's established.
Well, I think they will try and interpret what's established in their own way. Like they'll try and think that they're going to be creative and do X, Y, and Z, which is obviously they're not going to do that.
They don't even know the law. They haven't looked at it. To think that they're going to hold on for that, to do something like that, I just think is way overreaching. Not probably a chance in fucking hell.
But you know what? If they actually do the Darth Venomous thing in that parallel, I'll give them a slight going, well, you read a few pages of that book, of that Legends material, but the rest of it was horrible.
I will never, ever question your optimism, but you are far too hopeful, my friend.
But see, the thing is, that wouldn't even be hopeful for me. For me, it's like I don't even want that, because I think that Legends material, just by itself, narratively, is far and leaps and bounds better than what we're having here. So, if anything, it'll be doing a disservice to draw from it, to bastardize it. See, for me, I'm just trying to make logical connections and comparisons of where they would have had that inspiration. So if we look at Venomous, who had an acolyte that was a criminal, I mean, that could be discount Ezra Miller with May, because she is a criminal. So I'm just trying to think maybe they found inspiration from there. But they made a comment though. Remember when you said Yord said this bloke gets in your head? La 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 la. Osha responds to Yord and says, that's what my mother used to do.
Yeah.
Not sure what they're trying to draw there.
It seems weird that they were trying to make you think it's one of the mothers.
Can you imagine? Now, hear me out here. Hear me out. That the power of one, the power of two, the power of many spawned these two girls. But because we didn't see the horny bitch die, she force conceived herself a son being this bloke.
Surely
Could
not.
you see that happening? Where we're just getting Anakins everywhere now.
This is one of the things I don't get about it. What is his motivation? Why does he care about these 4 Jedi? How does he even know what happened?
Well, that's an interesting question, right? Because he seems more intent on killing these people than May.
Yeah, because he carried on killing them after May was going to quit. So why does he care? What's the significance?
Your guess is as good as mine, because they're not very good at diving deeper. Like, we're over halfway and we got fuck all idea what's going on.
Like, where is
this? That is real. Like, we have no idea what's going on.
Where is this going? Like, I cannot see where this is going. Like, you got the 2 individual storylines of the sisters being with the wrong group. For what reason? Like, why would May impersonate her sister? Is she still trying to kill Sol? And if not, that dumbass just believed her. Why didn't she just stab him in the back? Like,
Well, now Basil is going to come back and figure
sniff
out
out
that
her
it's not
bumhole.
there, that it's not OSHA, because he came on the ship after everyone got fucking dooted, and he's having a little sniff around,
Yeah.
and it basically ends on him. It's like, oh no, this the demented otter that no one can understand except dead Yord.
I love how they just left the dead people there. They didn't bury them, didn't get their lightsabers, didn't do literally nothing. Didn't close their eyes, didn't put them together in a nice grave or something like that. They just walked off. Especially
Oh
just leaving
yeah,
the lightsabers there, which is kind of irresponsible.
which still leads me back. I cannot get over the non-reaction of Sol after his Padawan got shishimi'd. I'm like, that is your Padawan. The Padawan, the connection between a Jedi Master and his Padawan is meant to be unbreakable. It is strong, which was, really, really personified in the Clone Wars with Anakin and Ahsoka. Like, Anakin did anything and everything for his apprentice. He went, remember when she was convicted of the terrorist attacks against the Jedi Temple, he went leaps and bounds to find the truth, right? I didn't see that in this. I didn't see that connection because they don't care. They don't care about the law. You know what I mean? And people are going to go, oh, if Dave wrote it, he greenlit it.
Yep.
He greenlit this.
And
There are
whether or not he's just a figurehead or not, with power or not, it doesn't matter. If he really cared, stand up and say something like a man.
And that's what, to Ben's point, it's just like, stand up to it. I mean, people are just scared of losing their jobs. Can you imagine if they fired Dave Filoni?
I don't think he would struggle to get another job.
No. But can you imagine, like, before he greenlit some of this horrid shit, can you imagine them firing Dave when he was still in favor with the fans? Can you imagine the shitstorm?
It wouldn't have mattered.
Well, I don't think he matters anymore.
Well, it wouldn't have mattered then.
Yeah, it would have. I reckon there would have been a
People would have been upset, but they would have got over it.
Because back then they needed Dave. Now,
because these products are getting made anyway when
that's
he's
the thing.
there. So obviously it wouldn't have mattered.
Not necessarily, because they sort of looked at him for law.
Are they?
We haven't had anything as groundbreaking as law breaking as this.
As far as I can tell, he just makes shit up.
Well, I think everyone to a degree makes shit up.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, but I think now they don't even need Dave anymore. If they dismiss Filoni, who cares?
Yeah, no one.
Leslie's done what she's wanted anyway. They don't need him. They can continue on and just
keep doing whatever they want. So I'm not sure what, like, he's just irrelevant. At this point, he's just there to get his check. And he's too much of a cuck to say anything.
Do you think if Kathy got fired?
Won't happen.
But do you think if she did, hypothetically, do you think the franchise would change for the better?
It depends who they hired to
I think it's a Disney issue. I don't necessarily believe this is Lucasfilm or Kathleen. I truly believe this is an inherent systemic issue within entertainment and media today.
Well, there's 100% a directive coming from somewhere. And like I say, I think they're benefiting somehow from all this that we don't see, which is why everything's so shit. But all speculative. All speculative.
It's one of those things I don't understand. Why drive it to the grave? Now, look, we've been here for almost 3 hours. And there is something I do want to wrap up and reiterate, because within this time of Dave and I starting this podcast and me having a few, what I believe to be, again, objective tweets, and I'm going to hammer this point down maybe every podcast. because I got unfollowed by some other YouTubers that actually followed me. Me being a no-name person, that they sort of saw my opinion and decided to unfollow me. Not that I cared, but it just goes to show. Again, if you all follow a creator that gets benefits from Disney or Lucasfilm, who gets invited to premieres or receives anything from them, they come into their chats, they come into their streams and talk to them. Their voices or opinions are no longer objective. Again, that's no hate. Just understand the reality that they're not objective. They will never give a truthful opinion on a piece of art coming from Disney that is Star Wars. By all means, watch them to understand what shows are about. Never watch them for an objective opinion, because you're not going to get it from them. Disney could put out anything and they will love it. It's just the reality of them.
Can we just put a kibosh in calling it a piece of art? Because this is not that. Call this art.
Art is
on a canvas art.
there are painters and there are shit painters, right? There's good art and there's shit art. So again,
there's straight shit.
Yeah. Well, so again, I want to hammer home. There's no point in going to these people and calling them a shill. They'll weaponize and then go, "You calling us shills, Lala?" Don't. They are shills. You know it. They know it. We know it. There's no point in going there and calling them shills, because it might make you feel better for 3 seconds, getting your little anger out on them. But just understand that's their job. If you work for a company and you go on public Twitter and you say my company's, poo, expect not to work for that company anymore. You have to see it in that same light. There's no point getting angry at these people. No point of it at all. Just don't watch them for reviews about it, or for an objective opinion. But if you want to go there and consume blindly with them and clap like a seal, go for it. 100% go for it. But I'm going to say this again sincerely. All that does is concedes to mediocrity. Now, if you think these things is just silly and it's just meant to be entertainment and fun, cool. But that doesn't mean it can't be good entertainment. Sure, do you know what? I can't even look at this and be entertained on like a real superficial level, because the writing is that bad. It is that bad. It is horrible. And if you think these episodes are bangers, you know what? I envy you that you can enjoy it on that level, but I don't think you're a very intelligent person. Because I'm sorry, unless you are like, honestly, like you're a kid, which Star Wars is for kids. Let's be wrong. You're a kid and that child is entertained. There's nothing better, because that's great. It's awesome that the kid is having fun, because that's what it's meant for, right? It's meant for kids. Not that I think they writ this for kids, though. But, if you're not a child and you're a fully grown adult with a thought pattern, I question you. I really do. And I know that might sound mean, and well, I never said I wasn't a cunt. Just to put that bluntly.
I call him that often.
Yes. But yeah, sorry, just to wrap that up again. Yeah, like, look, don't get angry at the shield channels. It's their job. Just don't consume their media. And you know what? The best thing we can do for the Acolyte, obviously, Dave and I are sacrificing our eyeballs for you guys so we can talk about it, but just don't watch it. Take a leaf from Dave, from Ben's here. Just don't watch it. Don't give him the views.
Well,
don't give him the
from me. I wasn't going to watch it until you made me.
That's not like I pinned you down, mate. Calm down.
You did. You tied me up, had your way with me, and then made me watch it.
I even put lipstick on.
Yeah, it's hard to get off. All the showers in the world that just don't matter.
But anyway, that I think would do us for this evening. Dave and I will be back next week. Or unless we're bored on the weekend. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But
you know what we got to look forward to? we need to do episode 3. That has to be done.
All right, maybe over the weekend we can get a nice episode 3 discussion going. And you know what? We might even do it at a time of day when our brains are working, because after a long day and then watching the Acolyte, your brain has left the fucking building.
Trying to figure out how it makes sense.
Exactly. And you know what? I also want to end by saying, like, I'm not a hate channel. I'm not. I'm really not.
You know what? We need to balance this out with some good shit.
You do.
Like,
But
we'll have our
some
moments
good
where we
shit.
talk about huh?
They need to give us some good shit.
Oh, I'm not just talking about Star Wars for this, because if you're waiting for good shit from Star Wars, you don't hold your breath.
Yeah, I'm like the kid that's waiting for his dad that went to go buy
I'm
milk
talking things like, like Reacher or Shogun, like shows that are actually good.
Shogun is so good.
Yeah, now that you've given me your Disney Plus account, I can actually watch it.
Don't say that. Shh, he's not leeching off me.
No, he paid for me. I'm not using his one.
There we go. Legalities here. Fuck it, come at me. What was I gonna say? Yes, there's one thing totally a bit off topic that I want to have a quick talk about. You're a big fan of The Boys.
I've only seen the first 2 and a bit seasons, and I enjoyed it. Yes, but apparently the new season is anus.
Because apparently the showrunner this whole time was trying to make fun of, I guess, conservatives. Now, I'm not a conservative, so this doesn't affect me. But I mean, is it bad if you are a conservative, or is it just bad, period?
Well, before it was not, like, it's clear that that's what they were doing, but it wasn't so overt, and there was still like entertaining story characters told around it, which really made it worth watching.
Because didn't they try and make Homelander Trump, and that's sort of backfired in their face, because people in America like Trump, obviously.
I haven't seen all of it. I'm only about a couple of episodes into season 3, but from what I've heard, the seasons get worse as they go along. Like, the first one was awesome, really good. Billy Butcher is the best character, fucking awesome.
And how's Homelander though?
Oh, Homelander's great. Homelander is an elite villain in the first season, 100%. Elite villain. He's so good. Yeah, he's really, really well acted. Fucking great. There's some really twisted shit in there, but fuck me, some of it's so funny.
Sorry, I just stumbled across something really funny. So while I was searching my Twitter and going to Krista Nova's Twitter page. By the way, you should always follow Krista. She does some cool kick streams. She's hectic. She's amazing. She posted this: "Who is she? Wrong answers only." And I laughed at this lesbian headlamp. Epic Mike.
Oh my god! I'm
a talented writer and showrunner. Or someone who didn't know about Harvey's crime.
I wonder if that's a joke.
No, it's wrong answers only, right?
Mm. Oh yeah, good point.
Harvey Weinstein's former executive assistant. Wait, you mean wrong answers only? She makes Star Wars adjacent.
George Lucas man. In disguise.
Oh. Ah, yes, the Hawk Tour girl.
She is everywhere.
Oh, is that? Oh, that's Anita Sarkeesian. Is this
her
Gremlin?
off screen?
Is
Get her
Gremlin
off screen
still
right
around?
Now. Dude, I can only take so much AIDS in one night.
Is Anita still a thing?
I don't know. I fucking hope not. She's not relevant. Is she?
Is
I don't
feminist
think-
frequency still a thing?
No, that folded. That folded a while ago. Thank fuck for that.
I hope it folded.
Mind you, now we've got Sweet Baby Inc. and stuff. It's basically what happened if Fem Frequency had have succeeded. So in the end, they are getting their way.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't like it at all.
I don't understand. I don't understand, like, why companies just are complicit to having these contractors come in and dictate their storyline or character development and things like that. And I think I remember you were saying you're mentioning they get bullied or they get pressured.
It got brought out with the Black Myth Wukong debacle, where they basically outed the fact that there was an extortion attempt on them to get $7 million to pay them to put that shit in the game.
But
and
what
if
was
they
their
didn't
problem?
do it, what's the problem?
No, what was their problem with Wukong? Were they trying to claim it racist or
No. It wasn't they had a problem with it. The problem with it was there was no DEI in it. That was the problem.
Fucking magical humanoid ape.
Yep, but there's not enough female and black and lesbian representation, mate.
But it's a Chinese story. It's
they're hearing about all these. They're hearing about all these things. All these different games keep coming out where they had a specific hero planned for the main character, and they always end up being black or woman or black woman. They keep coming out. Things like Tales of Kenzera and there's South of Midnight and all these other ones. Oh, and Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Oh, yeah, finally telling the story from a Japanese perspective, and they had to, anyway. But yeah, like, I don't understand. Wukong is like a Chinese myth.
Yeah.
What
Chinese
diversity do you need in that?
Mate, you're looking for
logic,
common sense and logic where there is none.
But it's like, for example, when Disney made Mulan, but if they made her dad like Latino or something, it's like stupid.
Like, did they really?
No, I'm saying if they did.
Oh, if they did.
Like, you know what I mean? I mean, like, I understand that movie also has a tiny red talking dragon. That's voiced by Eddie Murphy, but like not the fucking point. Like, it's I don't get it. Like telling these cultural stories, but inserting diversity in them. And what's wrong with a story just being from one particular culture? Like, if we were to make an Australian story, you'd work within the bounds of what is in Australia. Like, Australia obviously being...
You're talking about people who were complaining that there weren't enough women in 1917. Like the war movie, or Dunkirk, or whatever it was.
Are you kidding me?
These are the same people.
Or no, I think
who
Dunkirk.
believe the same shit.
I think Dunkirk, they complained that there was no minorities, despite it being a European war in 1915. However it was, it's outrageously retarded comment. Were there soldiers in the English army that were from diverse backgrounds? I'm certain there were. Was there a lot of them at that point? I doubt it. Just by, I guess, off the base ignorant logic. But again, like...
Yep. Okay, so I was right. Dunkirk feminist review. Women absent.
Yeah, right. Now, the Battle of Dunkirk was when Churchill gave the directive of civilian fleets to go help bring
I was just using this as an example, man. Like that was just an example. There's more.
No, that's what I'm saying. I was like, where would you fit I mean, unless there were women, for example, on those civilian vessels that were nurses and shit, I'm like, maybe
Are you going to
you could
go
show
out of
that.
your way to tell you the story about the minority, though?
I don't think okay. I probably wouldn't say tell the story about the minority, but for me, if I were to tell a story of a historic event like Dunkirk, I would like to tell it of its reality and how it really was. So for me, for example, if there was data showing that on those vessels, even if they were commandeered by males, but they did have, you know, hordes of nurses that were female, for example, to help the injured, and if that was a historical event, then yes, that should be in there because obviously those medical practitioners played a vital role in helping those soldiers, right? That's one thing I would say from that point of view. If that happened, then yeah, put it in there, right? But if that's not the case and they were just vessels that were just purely sent there to go bring them back, then I wouldn't look for it. You know what I'm trying to say? If it was a significant thing that was noted in history, David, is what I'm trying to say. So for me,
Yeah,
I
they
like
don't
to.
care about that, though.
No, of course not. Which brings me back to the point. Like, if we actually made it like a story within Australia, Australia is already a multicultural society and has been, for a while. But if you were to appeal to a normal audience, let's just say if we were saying Australia in the 70s, you would have what? Italians, Greeks, Spaniards kicking around. You'd have obviously Asians, you'd have Anglo-Saxons, and then you would have our indigenous people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, I find that they don't do diversity well. And what I mean by that is it's unrealistic. It's
No, but this
unrealistic.
is where, like, when they put diversity in things, especially in something like a fantasy story where it's not a real world, they just dot different. Like, it's Star Wars is a good example of this. You see in any of their towns, everyone's a different race. Like, everyone that walks past is a different race. Just like,
That's right.
what was the cultural background of this place?
And that's
There
what they're
was none.
missing. That's
That's
right.
that's exactly the point. How do you build culture if everyone's from a different culture? It's
Exactly. And
not
you know what?
like world
Dave,
building wise, it makes no sense.
yeah. And I think Dave Filoni, actually giving him some kudos here, I think he done that well when he invented Lothal, where Ezra Bridger was running Rebels, you remember.
Mm.
Because he did give everyone or from Lothal a Middle Eastern aesthetic, right? Or Indian sort of aesthetic. Because he's him saying Aladdin was a big inspiration for Ezra. Like even his parents looked like Arabic, right?
Mm.
Where he
Yes, he was.
gave
He looked like an Aladdin clone.
but he gave the people of Lothal that aesthetic. Even the name, like Strider Azadi, like that does sound sort of Middle Eastern, Azadi, you know what I mean? Like he gave them that sort of appeal. So he tried to the best of his ability to give a place a certain culture. Now you look at Coruscant, I mean, that's a multicultural metropolis, right? The capital.
Yeah. Well, that's got delegates from all over the world.
Exactly. But it's got also people and species all over the world. But you're right. Like, when you draw a place with people and culture, it's not meant to look like downtown Chicago. It's meant to look like a certain place. They're meant to have similarities. They're meant to have facial similarities, and people can argue,
And
but
what it does, it makes every place they go to look exactly the same.
correct. And I think what they're trying to say as an argument is, being a galaxy around the world, wouldn't lots of people travel to and fro? Yes. Yes. In populated areas, you would see that, but it does not mean a
That
certain
there's still
place
not a dominant race in certain
culture.
areas.
Or culture,
Yeah.
like from Naboo, right? They look like, for better or less, Italian nobles, right? That's what Naboo looks like. They do. It look like parts of it were filmed in Italy. That was a big inspiration. Lake Como and things like that. Natalie Portman can pass for an Italian. They sort of, not saying that they are Italians, but the sort of aesthetic that he went for, right? Because everyone on Naboo looks like a noble, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They look really pompous and well to fucking do. And then you go to Tatooine, they look like farmers and shit. Now, I understand 1977 probably wasn't a lot of diversity and extras they could have chosen from in the business. I get it. I get it. Like, you know what I mean? Was it white? Yes. Was it white on purpose? I can't say that for sure. I can't
What's
say
this?
like, for example, the old Star Wars, right? If people say it's a lack of diversity and things like that, I go, well, first of all, in 1977, George Lucas would have been working with a pretty tight budget.
Mm.
So extras would have been maybe even volunteers or who you could get that would work for that wage. Now, is it fair to say, did he purposely look for just white people? No, I don't think so. I think back then you worked with what you had. And he also made ethnic human beings pretty famous.
Mm.
Like Billy D. Williams is a big deal as Lando Calrissian. Loved character. Isn't he, David? Right, Lando.
He is.
Who the fuck doesn't like Lando? And obviously
Well,
the
not the
voice of
Han
Vader.
Solo version, but yes.
So even in the Han Solo version, there was an interesting comment made by Billy D. Williams and Childish Gambino. Because I think Gambino did a decent job as Lando, and Billy D made a point of, you know, he liked the fact that, you know, he was a suave space sort of, you know, like sort of like a pimp, right? Really good with the ladies, real smooth talker. You know,
Wasn't
he
it
really wanted,
implied that he had sex with his ship?
I don't know. I don't know, but like he
I
wanted
remember that
to.
being a thing, like he was into robots.
Yeah, well, he likes to fuck toasters. That's whatever. Fuck, it's weird.
Like, why do we give this any credence at all? Who the fuck cares?
I don't understand why it was needed to be said in a always quoted children's show.
Like I
Why
said the
do you
other
want
day,
children to
everyone's
know that?
obsessed with sex. That's why.
Well, pillars of a falling society, allegedly, isn't it?
Yep.
But
It's all crumbling down around us.
yeah,
And all we can do is point and
exposing
laugh.
children to these things is pretty fucking. Anyway, I digress. But
Weren't we wrapping this up like 45 minutes ago?
oh yeah, well, fuck.
Fucking Captain
Yeah.
Rambles over here.
Captain Rambles. So sorry, back to Rabbit. Yes, there was a point that Billy D. Millions made that, you know, he said Childish Gambino with his portrayal of Lando, he was very, very obsessed with concentrating on the making a point that he was sort of Afro-American and things like that, where Billy D sort of is like, I wasn't really into that. I just wanted to, you know, play the character of his characteristics and things like that. So I think the sentiment of actors have changed, where it's they want to sort of make a point politically all the time.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. And I say this fundamentally, every human being is entitled to their opinion, but you're a fucking actor. You're not a politician. You're just like us. Just because you've got money does not give you, like, in my opinion, any sort of status above other humans in terms of politics. It's like, if anything, I think you should always have a voice and be allowed to have a voice, but it also teeters on. I think it can be dangerous because, you know, if you are a beloved celebrity, people for some reason follow you and care about you and what you have to say a bit too religiously for my liking. And if you push a political narrative, like, it has a lot of influence. You know what I'm trying to say? It has a lot of influence. So it's just like, I don't think I'd ever say that people need to be cucked with their words, or, you know, I am a firm believer in free speech, but I think maybe the way you portray your message should be done with care. I don't know. What's your opinion on that before we fuck off?
I think actors shut the fuck up. No one cares.
And with that, we have the wise words: shut the fuck up. No one cares. Well, I mean, like, you've said it in the most, you know, bluntest way possible.
If I wanted to see anything to do with politics or anything like that, I'd go look at politics. I wouldn't watch the Oscars or something like that to hear someone's political opinion.
Oh, after they get the reward and they have a big bleat.
Yeah, like I don't care.
I think it's funny because ultimately, is politics important? Of course it's important, but people
But if you're going to
watch
do that, get it
shows.
from where watch the news, watch political shows, watch
That's
that
it.
shit.
That's
No
it.
one cares about your political alignment.
But also people that are trying to watch entertainment want to be entertained. It's
Yeah.
not the same world out there. It's, there's a lot of media out there. There's a lot of people, things to consume. People are overwhelmed. Some people are overworked, and some people just want to relax. The last thing they need to do is be preached at. Like,
Mate, we're
fuck
like
off.
15 years too late to this. Like, this has been going on forever.
But when we were growing up, we just had normal stories. Like, remember when Transformers came out back in the day?
Mm.
Not saying that it
Yep.
was, the most marvelous piece of movie, but like, you got to go to the cinemas and have some fun. Like,
Yeah.
you were entertained on that level. It was funny. Like, it was cool effects, and you didn't really read too much into the storyline because we were fucking kids. We just had a good fucking time.
Yeah.
I like even the Fast and the Furious movies, as stupid as they are. I love them. I love them. Like, I got a bit too far in the end, but it was a movie about cars. In
And
captivating
family.
the entertainment mind of and family of boys around the world wasn't hard, was it? Give them cool cars and shit. Like,
And hot chicks.
yeah, you know what I mean. Give them cool cars, hot chicks, and now it comes with a message. Fuck off. Anyway, any last words, mate, before we end it for today?
Have a good day/evening, everybody. I am going to hit the sack and go to bed.
And I'm going to go. Should probably do the same, but I've got washing to wait to dry.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I can hear the dryer still fucking going. I'm so upset. They're bed sheets, but so I need them. Also, I just turn the heater on blast and sleep on the couch. Anyway, all right, guys.
Have
Enjoy.
a good one, folks. We'll see you next week, episode
That's
3. We're going to talk shit about that shit.